Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lightbrings podcast episode
56.
Welcome. Thank you. We're going to just have one of the guests randomly guess each week which episode we're on. That is the way it's going to go now. It's more fun. I think it's 15.
Can they actually hear us during the introduction today?
They can. Yeah, they can hear you now. I would actually well, they've been able to hear you for a while. I just, sometimes I lie.
What?
Wow.
No.
We were talking about NDA information.
Not today. I mean previously when I've done intros. It's okay. No, they couldn't hear what we were talking about. They couldn't hear us talk about Cass, Brindle, Kroof, Sweetly, like all the people. Couldn't hear us talking about Obi either. That guy,
Yeah.
that one, honestly. Oof.
Oh yeah, no, I agree for sure. That one is no good. No good.
No good at all. Hello everyone, welcome. We are going to be talking about Guild Wars 2 today, surprisingly, because it's not, we haven't done 65 or so episodes of that already, and I thought it would be appropriate to continue in the same fashion. We're going to be talking about awesome stuff today. It's going to be a little bit more chill because it's not like, there's no hectic news coming out at the moment, but there's still a few bits and bobs going on. The Guild Wars 2 website, it's not the website, it's the where you can buy it, sorry. What do we call that?
Purchase
The buy page.
Buy page?
Store.
Buy or purchase. You could use both interchangeably.
Buy or purchase page. Buy, purchase. Purchase, buy. Pie.
So if I type in purchase by on Google,
Purchase-
Are you going to
Guild
write us
Wars
some
2.
more classic tales from Boots?
It's our
Boots is classic
IRL
too.
Black Lion Trading Company,
There
but
you
all
go.
you can get is Guild Wars 2 the game.
And no, you can get some other things. We'll see. We'll show you in a bit. I'm going to talk about an article which came out, which Rookery linked to us. So I thought that would be a good thing that we could talk about today as well, because it's got some bits and bobs in it. And also a little bit about CM race. That was quite cool. And T-Bot getting interviewed by one of the hardcore raiding peeps over in WoW, Maximum from Liquid, which is really, really cool. So it's good, for the game as well. So we're just going to put in a load of stuff today. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about also how I've gotten really back into the game and because I've been playing Guild Wars 2 again like it's 2012. Like not exactly 2012, but like I've been playing it when I can, when I've got some spare time, like World v World at night. I've been playing World v World. I've been leading raids, like random pugs, and I'm like, whoa, that is like weird. I don't know why, but I've on my core engineer and rifle.
Imagine playing the game you love.
I know. I know.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, World v World.
Revolutionary.
I left World v World for reasons because I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and recently I've just started to play all these different parts, like going back to core Guild Wars 2.
you've been core engineer rating?
Yeah.
Wow.
Leading. Yeah.
Wow.
But the rifle build with explosives and stuff. But the thing is, I just have loads of mechanist with it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's just good. Just accurate and stuff. Yeah. So if there's anyone in chat, if you feel like you've been playing, I don't know why. I don't. Maybe it's because it's 10 years, maybe soon, or maybe it's like just there's loads of hype and excitement about the game. I think, and there's loads of articles and there's loads of there's change, when you start revisiting it. I mean, I don't know, is this, maybe this is something we can talk about for a minute. Is there anything what are you all doing in the game at the moment, if you're doing anything specifically? Fishing. You still do, you're leveling your, do you want to give some context?
6 or 7 now? Yeah, I'm leveling a character up from 0 to 80 only by fishing.
Cool.
And it's a little slow.
So what do you have you been going zone by zone when you've leveled? So you've been
I've
going
been sort of like
preferences?
going back and forth from different zones and stuff, just
cool.
to like, have a little bit of some kind of, interesting things every once in a while if I get bored of a certain place. But did you know that if you fish in a lower level map than you get less experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always better to try to fish at higher
That's what I
level
was
than
going
you.
there. That's what I meant. I was like, do you go to different maps according to your level? Yeah. That
I try to,
actually
yeah. I try
is
to.
so good. That's so good though.
The best thing to do, though, obviously, is to just stick in one of the towns
Okay.
because you can't get attacked in the towns, and they're level 80, and it's just. Yeah.
Right.
But
I've been fishing, not
You
of my
too have
own,
been fishing.
not of my own choice or volition.
Oh.
Are you
I've-
okay?
I'm not
Christ,
okay.
if you need help, is somebody making you fish?
I'm looking as fast as I can. Please. I've been actually, I'm almost complete with my elite spec weapons, and a part of the elite spec weapons is to catch a fish. And the RNG has not been on my side.
really? Because they're usually
thought-
pretty easy.
No.
Really? Wait, which fish are you
Sunday
trying to get?
night, I was doing Spectre's Gorami. I caught 55 fish, not a single one.
Which one are you going for?
I've completed all of them. I'm now on the Spectre. But last stream, I was doing the Untamed one, and I had to catch a stingray in Seitan Province.
Yeah.
I think I caught 80 fish before I finally got
Really?
the stingray, and I was doing it at the proper time.
It was the
There's no
power
bait
and
necessary,
you had the right power
and I
everything as
had
well?
all the power. I had all the power that I could get on that character.
Yeah, I remember doing that because for Aurene Legendary you need the yellow. What are they called? The
Ambergris.
yes, that's the one.
The ambergris
And
stuff?
yeah, so I was like, I don't want to buy it. I really want to try and earn as much as I can with, and then when I get impatient, I'll start paying for stuff with gold. And then like
And just for reference, 80 fish is about, with all the experience boosters you could have in game, is about a level and a half.
really, okay, that's cool to know.
So the game forced me to level in order to catch this one damn fish.
I really love that you have become perhaps Guild Wars 2's only expert on solo fishing runs.
Uh-huh.
I really love this for you. This is a really good niche, I think.
I gotta tell you, going as like a level 23 character to like Ice Brood, I like the
Season 4 and 5 maps.
no, I'm thinking of the Ford.
More in
the
areas.
Yeah, the
Frostgorge Sound.
Frostgorge
Fjord.
Sound.
Yeah.
Frostgorge Sound, yeah, is rough, especially going to
nice
like
up there.
ore and stuff, because things.
Oh,
things-
ore is a wild, yeah.
Yeah. Like from halfway across the map, things will aggro to you.
Oh, ore is such a good map
Yeah.
though. It's such a
They're
good
in
map.
there like, I smell level 40. Let's go beat him up.
Actually, I've been doing the ore skin for my mace, for my Aurene mace. And it's actually, because they took the tickets down to 2,500 and I was like,
I heard
okay,
about that.
let's
Now-
actually go.
Can I ask you, is that for like the cost of every one of those items is not 2,500, or is it that one of like you need 4 or something,
Yeah,
but
so
one of
there's
them is
4
2,500?
claws or whatever they're called, and one costs gold, one costs karma, another one costs map currency, I think, from EOD, I can't remember, or it's something specific. And then one is 75 gold now because they upped the gold and they lowered the ticket cost. But you need all 4 to combine together to get to the next
gotcha.
part of the achievement, and then it gets really good. Honestly, like it is difficult because you've got some really it's event stuff in ore and a specific event like the Dwayne Temple. You have to go and kill. I love that. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And there's also I'm doing Hope at the same time. Oh my god, if you've not done the Gen 2 stuff where you have to get the achievement collections, they're so good. They're so good. It's given me, honestly, I think it's given me the energy to really get solidly back in the game, because I am going to core Tyria hard. And in the Norn zones, there's a jump. It's like a mini jump puzzle, but you go through this tomb and it's completely dark. And you have to walk through with a torch. It's with a char. I can't remember what his name is. And you basically just have to kill this lizard thing. I can't remember what it is to get one of these items for Hope. But then you're just going into these old areas, jump puzzles, hidden little special areas that a lot of people may not have even been to. So it's going to take a lot of people to areas like that. And if you haven't done one of these collections, even if you just go for it slowly, like I've been doing it, it is so good. It is just amazing. Like for Hope, you have to basically, you have a Hylic who basically you go and get all these different potions, and so you become like an alchemist as well for the start of it. It's just like the amount. I now know and understand why they didn't do this anymore. Because there is so much to this. I'm on the last collection for the precursor. It's only the precursor, and it's 50. No, I think it's 60. I think it's 60
But it's fun
items.
though, so that's.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. Yeah, it's great for the stream. We've had a great time. Like, but it's crossed over with the ore events for the skin for the mace. So I've had to kill the wizard.
Double whammy.
Yeah, exactly. I had to kill the wizard for hope. I was in awe, like just waiting outside Temple of like Ara, and then like we just did this event, and I was like, whoa, I remember with all this stuff, and then all these just mobs keep coming, the undead are like rushing the gate, and you're just like defending it, and I'm like, this is 2012, man. It's so
By the
good.
way,
Go.
speaking of legendaries, I have decided to finally go for legendary armor.
Which one?
Nice.
That's it. So I'm gonna make one set eventually. That's gonna be the PVE
Yeah.
set for probably the heavy set, just because it looks the coolest, I think. And then I'm gonna do PvP and World versus World mix and match for the rest of them for the 2 other sets.
Cool.
But the issue for me right now
You probably
is
got a lot of the PvP stuff already, maybe, if you've
Yeah,
been playing
I-
seasons.
I have enough for like 5 pieces of PvP.
Get in on this 2v2. It's ending next week. But if you've got any time, try and get on it if you can. It's quick
It's fine.
games. It's quick games.
No, not right now because nobody's playing it, so the queue time is forever.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, I tried a little bit this afternoon and it was like 5 minute
Oh
queue time.
no, yeah. Play in the evening.
Okay. But anyway, so
I'm
that
sorry.
and then World versus World, I used all my stuff for World versus World to get the rings recently. So right now I'm at not much, but that just takes time. So that's just I'll farm World versus World eventually. But my issue right now is that because of the fishing situation, my entire bank is full of fish because I'm not selling any of the fish until I get to level 80. And so I'm not even converting the materials. So I'm just, I just want to do it this way. I don't know why. So my entire bank is full of fish and my entire inventory on my character is full of fish.
You could be getting a daily thingamajig and making money, mate.
All of the stuff that I had in my bank is now I removed it and put it on other characters. And so like, I don't think I can start working towards my legendary armor yet until I'm done with the fishing thing because all my inventories are just a mess right now.
Yeah.
So that's where I
understandable.
am. That's where I am in game. I have to finish my fishing thing before I can do anything
I'm
else.
just looking at Kroof's face right now and looking at their journey through this. Kroof, can you tell us your feelings about
I
this?
just don't know why, because you can just consume the fish
No.
and put it in your
No, because I want to see
area.
I want to
for
see
free.
what it took to get to 80.
Oh,
You
I
want to see?
Why don't you take a
Okay.
screenshot then?
Yeah, you can
No.
or keep like a spreadsheet or something.
How?
You can
No.
also sell them in character in a charming way on the maps and like pretend to be a weird old man
fishmonger.
that like
That's a
fishes.
good point.
Yeah,
I
fishmonger,
could do
yeah.
that. I'll do that at the end. I'll do that once I
Boots
hit
the
the
fish
level.
man.
Okay.
You
If you
have
see
like a
Boots the
guild
Fishman.
bank that you could put that in
Let's get guild,
instead or
yeah.
something.
That's true. I do have
I
a couple
mean,
of guilds.
Actually, we could use the Lightbringers Guild bank if you
I
would
can
like.
use that. I'm sure
This is
Mock
gonna
wouldn't
quickly turn into a
mind.
guild hall stream because we're gonna
We
be
could
like,
have-
we should have individual bank
But I feel.
chests.
But hold on a second. The fish are account bound, aren't they?
I don't know.
No, you can sell them.
No, you can sell them.
No,
No,
you have
once
to
you convert the
consume it
materials,
and
you
then
can sell them.
yeah.
But the fish.
Oh, you have to
Oh.
convert them first. Okay.
I wish you could sell
Not
them.
gonna lie,
just the way they are.
I got so desperate that I was looking for a stingray on the official like trading post, and
Amazing.
you can't just
That's
purchase
Yeah,
fair. I mean,
you
that's
can't. That's true. That makes
probably
sense.
why they did it that way, to be honest.
Yeah.
They probably were like, if you have to fish this one for a specific achievement. Because to be fair, in 14, they don't do that. So if there is a really rare fish, I mean, I guess you could argue pros and cons of this because
Yeah.
like people will then list it to sell. And like oftentimes it does mean that like lower level fish that are required for like quests and things, people sell for way more than they're worth just
Yeah,
because
there you
people are
go.
lazy and they'll buy them. But like you can also sell rare fish, which if you spent a long time, like so there are pros and cons to where I think it maybe has a bit of a boost in the economy, but also it does take away actually like making players engage with that content or like even learn what they need to do anything to get to it and play the fishing. So
that reminds me. Isn't there still like a something in Caledon Forest? There's a heart quest that you could finish by turning in like this lavender or something, or like vanilla that you pick for the heart quest, but the vanilla you could actually sell on the trading post. So there's just like a non-repeatable, like you could only per character you could only get like 20 of these vanilla things, and then or lavender, and then you could put it on the trading post and sell it for more than it should be worth, and people buy it.
Oh,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But I just love that you've set this task for yourself, because it just goes to show that like you can make your own content in games and it can also be rewarding.
That is my entire Guild Wars 2 life, by the way. I literally have spent 10 years making my own content. And that's not to say anything about it. I mean, there's a ton of content in Guild Wars 2 that I also play, but I've
turned Guild Wars 2 into a sandbox game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a theme park anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of living for the idea of us having some sort of like monthly RP Lightbringers Guild fish market where everybody can hawk their wares. It'd be good. I love it. I mean,
I'm
I
not against it.
I mean, I think there's something to be said about making your own content in games, especially in like lulz, because there are so many unique ways that you can engage, whether it is stuff like roleplay or it's just setting your own funny little task or creating your own little immersion or your own, like I've seen people do no death runs recently or like no down state runs throughout all of the
I've done those. Yeah.
Valen's tried to do that for like 2 weeks or something. I don't know what happened with it. I don't know if he completed it or not, but I definitely saw a lot of different characters being played by Valen because there's a lot of deaths.
Well, like, have you remember Breach? You probably, Kriff, you probably, I don't know if you might all remember, but
Take two.
Okay, so
I remember that really specifically.
So Wooden Potatoes made a Iron Man thing 8 years ago. What was it called?
Iron Man or something like that.
Challenge.
I think it was just Iron Man Challenge. Yeah, I know. So I used to do that on stream, and I think the furthest I got, I think Claw Island was the one where like most people just failed. And I felt like I got my core engineer to this place, and he was called Banana Man or something. I know. And I've still got him, but I had to delete them, so I deleted mostly all of them, other than this one character, this Silvari. I was like, I've never made a Silvari before that like looked this good, and so I kept him. But it was like Claw Island, but you can't. So there was different rules to this one. You couldn't dodge. And you couldn't use your heal.
Yeah.
And I cheated a little bit, and I put medkit on my heal so I could use my shift one kit. So it was. But yeah, I disqualified myself.
To use like a healing signet?
Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yeah. So you could use things like that would regenerate, but you couldn't actively use. So I took off I unkeybound dodge and stuff. Otherwise, you would have ended up doing it. Revenant was really hard, and Thief, and I've got to redo that again. It was kind of funny, but Zero to Hero kind of thing.
The statute of limitations has run its course, and you can confess to this crime.
I am confessing.
Wow. I mean, they're gonna have to retroactively take your Iron Man title from you.
I don't have it. I didn't even do it. I died. I died at Claw Island. Claw Island took my soul.
I used to do that with Buddy Blitz and draft building. Those were fun.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
I was to say, I've just been working on my first legendary. So I've been doing it in Oreen Greatsword.
Your first Oreen Greatsword is your first legendary.
Wait, you got
my
one?
first one ever.
You got it?
Okay.
Cool.
Did you not get the amulet yet?
Well, yes, but I don't count. I don't really count that as me making a legendary.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Like, I put time and hours into it for sure, and I'm proud of it, and I love it. But I don't know if that's like really the legendary.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like that the main reason you got that done was for pride. I love it. That was so good. I was like, that is literally the best reason. So
I mean, I wanted the amulet, but then I realized I was like, oh, we haven't finished it up. Oh, I have to make this huge effort because it's Pride Month and I'm going to be a rainbow. So it worked out.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it's been fun so far. I'm just on like the earliest steps. So like today on stream, we were going around and doing map completion and End of Dragons. And like, I even stumbled across some events that I hadn't ever found before in Kaineng and the like old Kaineng area where there are those like journals that you can follow from before the like sinking or sorry, the rising of ore and like everything. And there is this like couple that were in love and
did you do
like
that?
put together. Yes, and then you do the vault and like the event pops up and you like reunite their spirits. That was so cool. Like I love these kinds of things because I think like you can just completely hone in and like follow a guide and just do the thing, which is totally fine, especially if you don't have a lot of time. But I really like using these kinds of collections or achievements as a way to just lead me organically to discovering other stuff. So like when I came across those notes, I was going, well, technically I just need this thing or this thing from this area, but I went, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to read these and I'm going to see if it leads to something, and and I love that because I think I fall more and more in love with the world every time I do something like that and take that moment to sightsee a little bit. So yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait to get my first legendary, but I also am really glad I get to revisit a bunch of stuff and like you were saying, Jeb, re-experience a lot of the maps.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of doing Aurora and not Coalescence? What's the other one? It's the two earrings.
Oh, I don't know about the earrings. Do they also have a rainbow?
Aurora's got like pink bubbles around you.
Oh, there were bubbles on there, and they combined into one bubble. It's bigger.
Coalescence is the ring. I think all of your amulets just affect coalescence or Aurora in some way.
I can't know.
The two earrings you get from doing Living World Season 3 stuff and then Living World Season 4 stuff. And like it's a very good intricate achievement thing that you got to do, and it's also fun.
Yeah,
Vision, that's what it's called.
If anyone's gonna know in chat, it would definitely be Yukon.
I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, I am working on Vision.
Yeah, those are good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun to do.
Maybe focus on the Great Sword first.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, I'm definitely going to focus on that, but I have actually always really wanted to make Dawn because I do think it's gorgeous. I really want to try more. I just feel like these ones are such good ones to get into legendaries because especially like, I mean, even if you do the Return 2 stuff, right, you're going to get a legendary amulet and you get precursor stuff, and with like, the X pack, I think they really made it easier to try your first legendary in End of Dragons. Like I was like, I'll start here because I actually want these the most anyway, and then I'll go after this and like try some of the other ones because I have been curious, Jeb, like you were saying, I think a lot of the stories and additional stuff that you get for like, is it Gen 2 stuff is so good. And then some of these other ones that I didn't even know about, I really would like to be able to actually like go in and do them.
It's weird because like it's just a precursor weapon, that's all it is. It's just to get the precursor, it's not to get anything else, and there is so much you have to do because you have to do Heart of Thorns map completion. And I went on to my character, so I was like, I've definitely done this, there's no way I've not done this. And then I was like, there's 2 maps not clear, and I'm like, what? So I hadn't done some of the, and Tangled Depths is just a nightmare. Like it is an absolute nightmare. Krufa is like a Heart of Thorns expert, I swear, and it's just like knew exactly what I was talking about. And then also I didn't do the Dragon's End map, like not Dragon's End. Oh good lord, the last map.
Oh, I said. Sorry, I realized I said Dawn earlier, but I meant Aurora.
That's what I meant. That's okay. The final map
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you if you're gonna do a different Aurene weapon if you're gonna get Dawn, because then 2 great swords.
You can never have enough fashion. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, Dawn's good as well, though.
Legendary. The quality of life and being able to change. Ooh, longbow. The Aurene longbow looks good.
It does.
And you play Dragon Hunter,
so pretty.
I see the mailman outside.
If he's got it, that's okay. Also, you can do the skin, the Mordremoth skins, which are awesome. They're so good.
And the other dragons that have yet to come.
Yeah.
Like Jormag. Oh.
Yeah, I want another. Do want another Aurene weapon. Honestly, I think they're good. I think they're great.
I want to see the Jormag axe and how it compares to Frostfang.
Yes, that's what people keep saying in our guild. They're like, I want to see what it looks like to see, to have one in each hand. But some people have been going like fire and ice, so like Primordus and like, having the fire and ice kind of thing going, which I think is pretty rad.
So cool if one of the special effects for the Jormag weapon would be that occasionally you hear Jormag whisper.
Oh,
like an echo of
like
Jormag.
a revenant thing where they like just
honestly, I think that is a good idea for all of them, though. The whispering of some of the like a little bit like Revenant.
That's
Zaitan's gonna be like.
Primordus are just like.
Yeah. There you go. Kroof is an expert and is literally, is literally a voice actor. So please,
instead of Jormag's voice, instead of Primordus's voice, when you hold it, it's Bram doing his champion of Primordus stuff.
I know we've found a new love for Bram, but I don't think I want to hear Bram talking in my ear every so often.
No, I think I'm good. Bram as a character now, but Bram can stay Bram and stay out of my head.
Yeah, it's like we get you, but like we don't get you that much.
Yeah, that's it. I like how we're just talking random stuff today. It's great. We're talking Guild Wars too. It's also because I feel like sometimes we just don't get to really talk about what we do in game much as well, and sometimes it's nice to just hear what we're actually doing. Because we're all doing different stuff, which is, and I'm also hoping that gives others maybe an idea of what you might want to be doing or what you could be doing in the game, because there is a lot to do. And I think there's definitely going to be that flow podcast we have when we talk about what's the link to all of the stuff, like how easy is it for us to go to all these different things? Hello.
I have a question.
Okay.
Does anyone know when the changes to World versus World rewards might happen?
No,
because I think I need to play as much World versus World as possible before that happens, because I think it's going to be harder to get rewards from World versus World afterwards. You're going to have to be more active.
No.
I think maybe you'll get easier rewards, like quicker rewards, maybe,
but you need to participate more.
You have to be actively participating.
Wait, so what are you doing in Multi-World when you're playing
Multi-World? So you walk slowly, you put yourself on auto run to the next camp,
Yeah, but it'll be really rough if you want to work on that, but you'll have to play World versus World to get it. So you probably should do it now. Yeah.
Yes. So I went back. I've been doing a little bit more World versus World lately. I cracked back out my Firebrand build because of the change. They put back
I've seen more,
Aegis on the Mantra Solace. Oh, so good.
I've seen more of those.
You were destroying me on that build.
Yeah, I know.
What is this? Hold up. Something happened that needs to be spoken about immediately.
Oh yeah, this is like months ago.
Tiny cup that you have right now?
Oh,
wait,
the cup.
what?
It's a sake cup.
You just drink a little sake?
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a podcast and a party.
And
wait,
in
that's
order
a
to keep
cup?
it cold,
Looks like a saucer.
So,
what?
In order to keep it cold, because it's hot in
It's a
here,
saucer.
and when I can't keep it cold, I actually have a bowl of ice that I'm putting the cup in, so it chills the little cup.
So classy.
Aren't you an engineer or something? I think you are, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Oh, right, it makes sense.
Why was that so sad?
I just got my coffee. I would have gone maybe hot sake. I just like sake warm, personally.
Sake, I love warm sake as well. It's just harder to do at your own house,
Don't you live
at a
in
restaurant.
Can't you just
put it
microwave
outside.
it or something?
Yeah, I could just put it outside.
Microwave,
yes. Lukewarm sake.
What are you talking about? Where you live is like ridiculously hot, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Put it on. You can literally put it in the cup on the bonnet of a car.
36 degrees Celsius is like body temperature. You don't want your sake at body temperature.
No, it'll be hot. And put it on the bonnet of a car.
Yeah,
there you go. That's a good
everybody.
point.
Welcome to the Sake Bringers podcast.
I don't think I've ever had it before. I may have had it once.
It's good.
You've never had sake?
Milder than a lot of other like just straight alcohol. It doesn't.
I recently
found
just
that
had
more palatable.
soju.
I'm from Europe.
I don't think
by
I've
the way.
had sake though.
I just drink everything else. I drank everything else they possibly could.
How did you like soju, Kroof?
It was really good. It was like a peach soju,
Oh,
and
okay.
it was so very nice and light. I liked it.
Yeah. Now I wish we could just all go out, and get some sake together,
do it.
have some food
Yeah,
after.
I wanna. Yeah, I
Can
wanna
we
do that.
organize? Can we organize a get together? That would be nice.
I actually think
Please.
that I have an idea for something.
Oh,
It
I
doesn't
would
involve
like-
me going all the way out west.
Oh, why?
Let's all go to Canada.
We could go and we could do a podcast on like Guild Chat or something at the studio.
that.
Oh, so it does involve me going all the way out west.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we
It
could see if
does
that could
involve
be a
that.
possible thing. I think they would like us to maybe do that potentially.
I like the
What?
like I'm imagining Jebro messaging and be like, "Hey everybody, would it be? Could we do this? Could we come out?" And everybody's like, "Oh hey, great podcast." No way.
Yeah, no, they would. They could. If we did it
Yeah.
for Extra Life, what happens?
Jebro
What,
with the,
what about
uh,
Extra Life? Like we could do
Jebro
like
with
I mean,
the,
that's possible.
With the counseling, with his new counseling job, is gonna fly us all out there on his dime. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
big
great.
bucks.
Yeah, it's true.
I
That's
will.
true.
I will pop an anti-anxiety medication and get on that plane.
Hey, yes, excellent. It's okay. You can get free counselling when you get here. Also, like,
Jebro cannot promise this. This is not real. This is a joke.
that
Jebro's
was a
making a
joke.
joke.
And also, that is a joke. Thank you. Disclaimer.
I got
It
you.
just comes up across the screen. I do not do counselling for my friends and family and also on stream. Thank you very much. I actually would love to. I've had ideas about wanting to do this in person in a like PAX panel or something like that, because you can apply for that pretty easily, like especially our TwitchCon and stuff like that. I mean, TwitchCon's a little bit different. PAX though, like that would be PAX West. Be sick. PAX
You
East.
can take live audience questions, and
Yeah.
I can like be the mic runner and like run down and be like, "What do you want?"
No,
You want a burger
you're
with
on the
fries?
panel.
Medium?
You don't do that.
I need to move around.
You just want to run. You just want
It's
to.
an interactive experience. It's like a host at a show.
All right, so we all run around with microphones in a circle.
Yes.
You know what? We'll have to start out the details at some point specifically, but I think we should make this happen, and I
That should be
agree.
good. Yeah.
I
You
agree.
could do like Billy on the street situation, running around like.
I would love to do that.
Yes.
I would volunteer to have like a segment where I interview people.
We
on
could
the street.
recreate the taxi
I was
commercial.
gonna say that. Could we like go around and we ask people like charge the bar, and they're like, "What the hell?"
What? And just pretend to be like an Uber or something?
Now they have to update their marketing. Instead of the Tyria taxi, it's the Tyria Uber.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
right.
I mean, there could be some pretty fun stuff from that. I'm not gonna lie. You could have like I've seen so many videos recently where I don't know, somebody shows pictures of a character from an MMO to like their dad who doesn't know anything about video
Yeah.
games. And then like asks for their opinions on them, or you know, like whatever it is. We could totally take portraits of like all the Guild Wars 2 characters and film. I mean, I'm just saying, look, we can make this a whole thing. We could get a lot of content out of this one trip. We can make it happen.
That a box isn't delivered. I will be right back.
We'll see you in a second.
All right.
Nice.
I have
Jebro,
separation anxiety. I'm scared.
I know I'm also scared, but I think we're gonna be okay.
What?
Should we talk about the stuff we were going to talk about today, Jebro?
Yeah, we don't, I mean,
Yeah.
that stuff isn't going to take a million years to talk about, hopefully. It'll probably to be like the. I don't know, I've just
No,
been
I-
enjoying this. This is like this is
too.
like the actual. This is a little bit like our banter before, although that gets a little bit more filthy.
Yes.
Not in that way, everyone, but like, you know, sorry. It's just that word, isn't it? Like when you say filthy, it's got such a connotation to it.
Especially when you say it.
Yeah.
Is that British?
Yeah.
Filthy. It's like two
Filthy.
F's.
Filthy. Not my
I
accent.
like it.
Filthy.
Oh, no.
I can go.
Oh!
I have to. It's taken a long time for me to get out of that Cockney way. Like, what do you mean it's terrible? Look at Rook. Look at Rook's little doings. It's like, oh, that's so gross. That's so
No,
gross.
it was
Jebro.
just, it wasn't your accent, Jebro. I want to be very clear about that. It was the very weird, creepy way that you said it.
Oh,
that I think
okay,
made
sorry.
us Proof
No,
fans I want to
but
call
that's
out of our
like
skin.
that's
Especially
like
with like headphones, it's right in your ear, and you're like,
sorry. That's like a
It's like
that's
heavily
like,
breathing into the microphone, like filthy.
oh,
really
that's
bad.
like a baddie in Harry Potter or something.
Sure, that's what it's like.
Or like an orc in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
That's rude to orcs. You know what?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no.
Maybe
An
I
orc
should
could do
do-
that to my ear any
maybe I
day,
should
and
do
I would
some-
just fall to my knees and be like, "Yes, sir."
Maybe.
That's filthy.
And I got shit for that? Like, I mean, really? I mean...
What? I have to comply. I don't want to get like
Hi
gutted
there,
like
hi.
a fish. Boy, like a fish. Isn't that a line in Lord of the Rings? You know?
Hello,
I will be
18
taking
rating.
this out
Hello,
wrong.
R rating. Welcome to the show.
Wow,
How are you
your
doing
minds are in
today?
the gutter. I wasn't saying that. I wanted to just stay alive.
That's okay. At least it's just here with all of you, anybody listening, you know, as opposed to what was last week when Guild Wars 2, amazing, wonderful, fantastic. Thank you so much. Came and, you know, gifted some stuff in the chat.
Oh, God.
and
Oh, God, look
in
at
a
me.
moment, went, don't say the word syphilis, and then immediately said the word syphilis. So sometimes we all make mistakes, and sometimes things happen, and things are said. You know,
Hannah Montana was onto something. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
Is Boots about to do like... Hey, yes, that's very true. Is Boots about to do a show and tell? We'll do Boots show and tell before we go and talk about the things. What have you got? What did you get?
I can't.
It's private, Jabro.
Oh,
Private.
I thought you brought it in to show us.
Oh.
No, I'm just gonna be distracted for a little while doing
What did
this.
you get?
It's such a Lego set.
It's a phone.
Oh, it's your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Right, new phone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you do that, and we'll talk about stuff.
Yeah, I guess we'll do the podcast.
We'll do
that
the
we're
pod-
here to
yeah,
do
we'll
or
do the
whatever.
podcast.
Whatever you want to do, it's fine.
Okay, I'll find about the find about. I'll find about. Wow, the words. They're coming. Here we go. We're gonna look at the website. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? What's going on? How are you? Yes, you good? Look at the website. This is where you buy the game. Isn't it good? What?
I don't know why I thought that was so funny. You're just like, look at the website.
Look at me now. Look at the website. Now
okay.
look at me now. Look at the
Yes,
website.
yeah, I love those ads. They're so good. And then look back at me. I am me looking at a website
Those are
that looks
so
great.
old.
What do you mean they're so? They're not that. They still do those.
No, they don't do the same format, but that was from like 2015.
Oh yeah.
We're old as hell.
I
We're
like
old,
those
and my
ads.
memes are old. They're old and crickety. So that's
Yeah.
I'm bad at memes, everybody. Sorry.
Yeah, but you're just
Deborah,
catching
tell
up.
us
So.
more.
Website. What is it?
I'm sorry. Tell us
Everyone
about
can
this
see it.
beautiful, incredible, gorgeous website.
Well, the landing page before, so this has changed to a more overall thing, because there isn't, is there the End of Dragons, just the End of Dragons as well? I haven't actually clicked on much, so I was going to do live reactions. My reaction, sad, isn't it?
But you know how sometimes
See,
on
proof
YouTube
isn't-
videos, people are like, you'll milk anything, even if it's 5 minutes worth of content, turn it into a 1 hour video.
Yeah.
The words that you just spoke, I'm going to do live reactions to the Guild Wars 2 purchase page.
Amazing.
Is
Amazing.
truly
yeah.
a masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
Not me getting red because I straight up made a 13-minute video on this.
I know. That's why
No.
I know you did. I watched it. It's good. It was good though.
13
You
minutes?
did
I
a
think I
good
was
video.
the only person to cover this change, and you know what? I found an opportunity. I saw a window, and I leapt through it.
Yeah, but no, you're going. This is like proof on location. Hello, everyone.
yes,
I am looking
was
at the
live
website.
reporting.
Yeah, that's that's what you should do. That's what you should do. You should get a little
Yeah.
microphone, like a little. Well, you've got a microphone, but like hold it up to your, and like just have wind and rain, like get a green screen and be like,
Yes.
"Hello, and today on Kroof News or whatever you want to call it."
Currently in Mount Maelstrom, there is very heavy winds, and lava is raining down around us. Be sure to bring an umbrella.
Okay,
Careful.
there's a segment right there. We're done.
Perfect.
Ship it. Ship it. It's gone. It's there. Okay, so you've got the website looks nice. It is, you've got all the bits and pieces. The game End of Dragons. So End of Dragons specifically, you can click on as well. Okay. But then it's got, so you can buy the collection. You've got the base game free there, Path of Fire, Heart of Thorns combo, and then you got End of Dragons, and it gives you all of the options to get. You can get gems on here as well, but it tells you all the dollar amounts for all of these things as well. Like, so the Living World Season 2 pack, the progression booster, additional character slot, all that kind of stuff, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
What?
Sure.
What?
I don't know if I ever saw those like prices before, like where you can
The
buy
additional
that.
gem packs and other stuff
Yeah.
listed.
Could you see that anywhere?
They're
before?
usually
I don't
tied to
really look at the
gems.
store. I already bought Guild Wars 2, so I don't really go here.
I went to the
Oh, like,
Wayback Machine, and you couldn't really buy these in-game items, nor I think you could buy like gems from the actual website. So this
Right.
is new, and it's nice
Okay.
to see, and really interesting to see like the in-game items have like a real-world currency price tag to it, and not just the gems. So that gives you maybe a bit more of an idea of what these items are priced at in real-world currency.
You're right about that. I actually think that would be a good idea to start doing a little bit more, like putting in more items like that, so you can get that idea. And also because you can think, right, in game technically, if I convert it back to money, like gems to money and everything else, and I've earned the gold, then it can be like, oh, cool, I earned like this much money's worth of stuff by spending 50 hours.
As you scroll through the page, I love that Living World Season 2 complete pack is like listed there.
Exactly.
I honestly love this page redesign. I think it's gorgeous. Like, and the categories for each of the different, expansions and stuff. The only thing that I'm like, I would love to see them add is to like have all of the Living Season packs very clearly, like with the same formatting as the actual like expansions, in a category underneath the expansions that's like DLC or something. And when you're on those expansion pages, I would love it if there was like a link that was like suggested add-on or something, and it was that Living Season pack, and then it like bullet pointed for you what that was, where it fell in the story, that kind of stuff. Like the rest of this page is so good. I think that like one touch would just make this the clearest buying experience in Guild Wars 2 that we've had in games so far, or
So
like
under
online
here.
so far.
Yeah.
So kind of
there's-
like,
There's a category of games, but Living World is categorized an in-game item, though it really is its own DLC. So I totally agree. I looked at this as well, and I was like, right under games there should be DLC, and you have each season listed, and then maybe at the very end, like the complete bundle that you could buy for like 50, 60 bucks. I don't know, however much it would be. But I think that would probably be better in terms of also showing the DLC options in Guild Wars 2 that aren't just the expansion games.
I just wanted to check that this went to the right bit. I've got to just bring that back up. Okay, yes, great ideas. Like, absolutely. Like, I think it is just nice. It's just straight to the point. It's not like got all of these different, because you know how on the End of Dragons page you've got like, and a lot of games have done this kind of thing where they've got that kind of 16:9 ratio thing, and you slide down to the next thing, you slide down to the next thing. I just wanted a page with boom, 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 all the stuff right there. Don't have to even scroll, because then people can just be like, yeah, cool, I can see the exact things and I don't have to do this stuff. And what are you doing?
Being a nice
What are you
student.
doing? I know I'm English, but like, I don't know.
You're
what that
muted.
means.
We can't hear you, Boots.
The way I have a question is that was the hand
Sure.
raising.
Yeah, we know.
The ways you purchase the game is End of Dragons, $30.
Yes.
Path of Fire, Heart of Thorns, $30. Yep, free for the base game, and then collections $50 for all expansions, which is a great deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
My question is this: it says in the description of the collection, get everything you need to experience Eteria, a vast living world, and then blah 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 blah. Does it include Living World? Probably not, right?
No. And a lot of people are quick to mention that, but it's unfortunate that the phrasing of Living World has been a marketing message that they've used even before Living World was an actual system. They used Living World when they were doing the base marketing for
Yeah,
Guild Wars 2.
yeah.
So it's unfortunate because it
Manifesto.
might make you expect that you're going to get Living World with it as well, but
They don't. It doesn't look like they mentioned that it includes the Living World seasons, but just that particular phrase, I
let's
guess.
click on it and find out. Sorry.
I do really appreciate that they have them labeled as far as the number of expansion. So like underneath you see expansion 1, like expansion 1 and
yeah,
2,
they
expansion
did.
3, expansion.
Perfect. That is very good.
good. Also, just to point out the actual like interface of this. I think that this is probably the most modern we've seen Guild Wars 2 go into, because a lot of common marketing tactics is about thumbnails, hooks, very in-your-face information where you don't have to read a lot of stuff or click multiple times to get there. It's very much you click it and you go immediately to that place that you're interested in, and it's much more captivating, and it has a nice structure to it. It's like boxes instead of like news articles, and then like you go to the top and you scroll down. God. So I love this design, and I really hope that this format might make its way into the actual Guild Wars 2 website. But for now, I love this so much.
It looks like Steam. It looks like the way they set it out on Steam.
Oh yeah, kind of. You're right. You're right.
And so when I think you will probably see those pictures and the exact thing copied to Steam. Like when you click on different expansions, you'll probably see that. Yeah. Like I would not even doubt that. Yeah.
Hopefully they'll have some kind of trailer for each as well, like where because usually on Steam and stuff you'll see, you know, like the trailer video, and then there's like screenshots you can page through. And even for something like this collection, now that we are, you know, I don't know, 10 years through this, it would be great to see like a trailer that kind of combines little highlights of all of this, or even, I mean, they have the little cinematic that they released with timey kind of recapping a lot of stuff, but of course you don't want to like spoil things for people. But yeah, they're there. On Expansion 3, there is a video.
Yeah, so they've got so here, go away. They've got
There's
the
videos
from
too.
Yeah, they've got, oh wow, they have got a lot of videos. They've got like 5.
Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns in the base game as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? The base game? Let's go and have a look at that, because I love those videos. I
think they've kind of messed up. I don't think this website is particularly finished, because in the Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns one, it's like the image of Heart of Thorns, but it plays the Path of Fire one, and in Guild Wars 2 Space Game, it shows images from Heart of Thorns. So it's a little iffy, but I think just a little bit more refinement, and this page will be like completely set.
Yeah, this is great. It's so clear cut. It shows you like what there is. I mean, for the most part, I think the redesign is so nice, and it just goes to show that they are addressing so many different facets of the game's experience in preparation for Steam launch. Not even just in-game stuff, not even just in-game systems, but like literally making the process of how they are showing this, advertising it so much clearer. I honestly don't know why for so long it feels like they've been so coy about living seasons that I just don't understand. You know what I mean? It's very weird to me. Many other games have just embraced the tag DLC. And I mean, like, DLC can carry its own connotations, I suppose, if people are like, what, there's DLC for my MMO? But there are other MMOs that are doing this specifically. And while some MMOs include stuff like patch cycle content just into it, what they're providing oftentimes post-expansion is not to the level of content that we are getting from like Guild Wars 2 with all new maps and all sorts of stuff, right? Where it really is more like that miniature expansion. It really is more like a DLC when it's all complete. So I don't know if that's just because they've been trying to figure out like how to rebrand it. I don't know if that's, but like to put it under items and then to categorize it as a living season, but not as a DLC. New players, that's the one thing on this page that I think is confusing, because new players just like don't understand how that falls into anything. They don't understand those keywords. They don't know what that means in relation to Guild Wars 2. So like everything else about this new page and this design is such great foundations for new people who are interested. But
maybe the reason why it's not so well presented yet is because they're planning on changing it. Maybe they are planning on including Living World into the expansions going forward.
I think that would be smart. But also monetarily, I'm like, they could maybe get some extra financing if they continue to sell it. And I think that what Rook was saying, where the title of Living Worlds might have some difficulty when you're trying to advertise this as like a DLC. And I think they tried to move away from that with Icebrood Saga. They didn't call it Living World Season 5. So hopefully they continue to make the seasons their own titles, where you just see it as like, oh, this is a DLC content, and it's like the title of that content. And I also would like to see them go back to the other seasons and give them their own unique names just for flavor as well. And then you could maybe sell that a little bit better where you're like, this is the DLC. It's like, this is like a cool story arc that you can experience, and it's not like connected to this living world system. But it also is weird that it's so hidden inside the in-game cash shop. You would expect that to maybe be like more shown off.
That is weird.
Especially too, because like they realized that there was a big gap with Living Season 1, right? So they needed to put that in so that players understood the basis. And when it comes down to it, like I personally do not actually consider these Living Seasons optional. Like if you are somebody that cares about a linear throughput of story, I don't think they are optional whatsoever. Now, breaking down components of the game to provide, maybe somebody just does not care at all about story. They just don't mind. They'll watch a recap or something. And so they can only afford to get the expansion bundle or something like that. I don't think it's a bad idea to have things be more piecemeal, where you can like buy as you can or like choose something that works for you. But and the fact that you can flexibly jump around in the expansions, I mean, I think is a good benefit to people who want to do that or want mounts or want this or want that. Although soon with the streamlining that might change too, right? And like how they're kind of introducing things earlier. But it does need to be like much clearer. And Kroof, I love your idea about rebranding the other Living Seasons and just calling them, whatever they are, and then packaging them specifically as DLC, because if they really do want to continue to sell these separately, I think that's the way to do it. Like make it something like that, and then say this is the narrative between X or Y, or this is
It's the thing is, when they started Guild Wars 2, they wanted to be different, right? We're not going to do raids. We're not going to do mounts. We're not going to do dungeons because the typical way, because it's going to be the Trinity instead. And we're not going to call it DLC. We're going to call it Living World. And the Living World is what Kroof said, very correct. It's like, it's that thing they started way back when, and what they kind of sold with Guild Wars 2, where the Living World was happening in a living, evolving world that happened while you were playing it. That was more specific really to those 2-week or 1-week events where you're just like, yeah, there's every 2 weeks this is happening, and then it's changing and changing and changing. Whereas Living World it's evolving and changing, but still doing that, even though it's the same thing over and over.
Much
and it's
more DLC.
Yeah, it's definitely like absolutely. And they really just need to change it, because people don't get it. People just don't get it. They absolutely have no clue. Like if anyone new comes in, they're like, if I buy the expansion and you do the normal stream thing, you're like, yeah, you can use the link, you can go and do all this. And if you want, you can get the Living World story pack. What's the Living World story pack? Well, 10 hours later, you're like, well, you need it for the story. And there is, with the expansions, you do need to, other than Path of Fire, I think you can argue is more just individual, right? But like with Heart of Thorns and with End of Dragons, if you've not done Living World before, like,
Season 2 is so important.
Yeah, it is. Like you need that. You need it. You can't imagine not doing it and just being like,
jumping
where
into Heart
are
of Thorns
we?
without Season 2 is wild to me.
Just think
Exactly.
about all the Mordremoth stuff that comes from Season 2, 1. But aside from that, you literally meet Aurene. Like, you get her egg in Living Season content. So, like, if we're talking about the 10-year dragon story arc and your character eventually becomes the dragon champion of one of arguably the most pivotal and important characters in the entire game, then you best understand how you even discovered that dragon, met that dragon, or had any relationship with that dragon. I mean, I would be all for them just putting these Living Seasons just as a part of the expansion experience and upping the price slightly on the expansion.
Even
like,
if it's
to
$5
me,
or something.
Honestly, I think
But
if we're talking about season 2 specifically, I think that should be base game because it's something that came before the idea of the expansions, and we all got it for free. And if they're making season 1 free, season 1 has been good in quality. We have yet to see how it fully plays out. But season 2 was such a tight narrative. It was so well done, and it really left off with an amazing cliffhanger that made you want to like journey further into the jungle.
Kroof.
And that could give you another reason to purchase the expansion.
Yeah, Kroof, exactly. But like Kroof, what do you reckon? 10 years? Do you think they could do that? They could maybe for an anniversary package, like or something. Is that something they could do? Maybe?
Like making it free?
Oh, for the 10-year anniversary?
Like
No, because if you've been playing for 10, because birthdays you have to play for that many years, so it really wouldn't make any.
Oh no, he's just saying in
for new players though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just saying in.
Oh, like for
When-
Guild Wars 2's 10th anniversary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry,
give
not for a
everyone-
10.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, actually, I'm not gonna.
Mail?
Well, I mean, they've run out of ideas. I've got all of the dyes, so they might as well give me stuff for free. You know, just the game content that I've already got.
Yeah, I think for like they could tie it to a special event like Guild Wars 2's anniversary and their birthday. But I think like I look at season 2 as such. That is really the season that got me to love Guild Wars 2 to the point where I'm at today, because the
Season
end
2,
of season
sorry.
yeah, the end of season 1 was so good that hooked me, and then season 2 just kept going,
Oh, yeah,
and
it
it was
was
a solid storyline. So I always I always cringe a little when I'm like, season 2 is locked behind a paywall for like the core experience, and it's not tied to an expansion.
it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I tell people all the time living season 2 is where I think I actually started to like genuinely form a connection and care about Guild Wars 2's narrative. And like there is a lot of good stuff in the core game, but I mean there are parts of its narrative structure that show its age. You know, there are it's good, and there are cool ideas, and there are many. I love the explorable playable pathways and like the different variations, but like when we look at where we get later with the narrative and everything else, like I was kind of still on the fence. I was like, I mean, it's fine, but I don't really know if I feel like this is anything that special, And then when I hit Living Season 2, I started to go, oh, wait, hold on. There's a lot of stuff here. I mean, honestly, when I think about it, and I hope that it is what everybody was talking about, like the reason that they're not even on this page is because they are truly, like they're seriously thinking right now. And I'm sure they want this game to be as much of a success as possible and have as many people come in and have a great experience and retain players. They are doing all kinds of stuff to that effect. So I'm sure this has been a big discussion, but like the more I think about it, I'm like, yes, it should definitely at least be visible as DLC, if nothing else. But the more that I think about it, the more that I'm just like, really honestly, if they want players to have the best experience, if they want players to have the best chance at retention, I think they just need to be in the X packs as a part of it. Yes. Because honestly, season 2, yes, is very important and should be in there. But then I was like, okay, well, what about like season 3? And I was like, oh yeah, there's some important stuff. And then I was like, season 4. And I went, if you haven't played season 4, you like you haven't even confronted one of the major elder dragons. You haven't you kill him in the living season.
It sounded sad though as well. I was like, you haven't even done this.
I mean, some of the only
3 elder dragons in the living season.
In the living season.
People may not have done that.
If this first arc is the dragon cycle, and you literally don't confront or see the dragons in like half of the dragons in anything except for living season, then you don't actually have the dragon cycle without those. You know what I mean? So to me, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, they do really need to roll these in or something. Like, because it's just, I don't know.
I think that, it could be 10th anniversary material.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems pretty soon though. I definitely think that it's got to be... I think it's got to be one of the things that they have to do for getting their ducks in a row for the Steam release.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Steam release is going to come on the 10th anniversary. That would be cool, but I think that's a little soon.
They need to
so maybe 10th anniversary. They announced that it's all tied into the living world's tied into the expansion purchases, and then you're already ready for Steam. Like rather than announcing it for Steam. Yeah.
And then now that we've completed the cycle, if they want to do DLC in the future and like have that differentiation from the living world, they could.
Yeah. I love that idea too, because I do think there are components to the Living Seasons that absolutely could be their own just bonus DLC, right? Like, is there a bonus map? Is there, I mean, granted, Guild Wars 2 has a smaller team. We have to remember this. Like, I really do think that compared to many other studios, at least as far as I know, they are working with a smaller group. And if they are like dividing and subdividing groups, that oftentimes means that like they are not hiring an entire new team to work on this feature or this thing, right? They are taking these groups of people, moving them to this temporarily, which means that there's a shifting, right? So developing ongoing DLC is something where it has been, I think, very efficient for them for a long time with Living Seasons to kind of tackle it that way, where it's like, well, we have these new maps, a new mount, a new this, a new that, right? Because they can just have their teams work on focusing that story while then everybody else is using that time to work on expansion, as we've seen, and stuff like that. But I think if they could find a way to divide some of this, I would be fine. You get like a bonus map for like enhance the Living Season. You get a bonus map or something. You get, I would be curious how people would respond if they put like a new mount behind one. I don't know, but
They
to
still
me,
do with the Living World.
they do, right? So
In
like
a
to
different way,
me,
because if you're playing up to date, you get it for free, which has been so kind of ArenaNet to give us these free updates for 3 months if you log in. You don't even have to like do anything special; you just have to log in. But I'm also like, oh, you could be selling this in a way to
They
maybe
really could
like,
have been,
help,
honestly. I
help
mean,
with the studio funds
it
because
doesn't
it's
even.
like.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Gem store stuff is nice, but you're not going to hit everyone. But usually with DLC and you have it layered out with like story maps, raid wings, mounts, you're like, okay, that is something that I can like actually get behind and invest in.
It's weird because you think, and all of four of us probably think that that's fine, right? Pardon me. That it's just like, really, I'd pay $10 for like a thing every 3 months. That's fine. No sub, anything like that. Whereas other games like ESO and World of Warcraft, which is more, I guess, it's more sub and that kind of builds up to a base. But then in ESO, you do have to buy the DLCs if you don't have the sub. So it's like, you know, kind of swooping in and out there. Guild Wars 2 is the MMO for the player who doesn't want to pay the sub, right? So start introducing paying for DLC, you can get a little bit, and I think it would be absolutely fine. I would pay the money, I would be fine with that. I think I feel like there might be a little bit of an uproar about it just because of like the model, and it makes me sad, honestly, because I think it's well worth the money, even if it's just $5, or even if you just paid with gold converted to gems and you could just buy it. Like I think that would be okay, but I actually think, like, you know what? We've been talking about this sub for a long time in this show. Like, we've been talking about a sub for an optional thing where you can get, as an additional thing, access to everything. Like, you know, it's a bonus thing for past players, like, as well. But I guess then, what do you give the players who already got that stuff is the other question. But like, it's just like there's so much they could do, and I think sometimes we're frustrated by the fact that they could just be making more money. And it feels like a weird thing to say when we're like, we want you to make money. Do this thing. Like, we would actually pay for it. Like, but then we forget, like, we would, but how many other people would? Like, chat, let us know. Would you pay for how much would a Living World story from start to finish, how much would you pay for that? And would you pay for it up front? Because it's different, because you don't just get the whole thing all in one. It's like over 6 months or so, right?
If they were going to do that, you'd have to like bullet point out promises.
Yeah.
That it'd be like 6 episodes, like 3 or 4 maps, a raid wing, 2 fractals, and a mount. And like you would have, like, that would be their overall checklist for that season.
Right.
Because if you didn't have that, I wouldn't do a sub. Because if it was just something where like you were left in the dark, I don't think anyone logically should or would do that.
Yeah, that's what makes it difficult, right? I think that's a good point. Yeah.
I think they could honestly even layer some stuff that would be interesting, right? So like if we just make Living Seasons now the baseline, everybody gets them. If you've purchased the expansion they are affiliated with, their important story, if that's how they want to keep structuring them, right? But then it would be kind of, I would pay for this. I don't know. I do think some people would be frustrated. But if they still had baseline stuff like, we have the gear sets, we have the special collections, we have special achievements, we have all that kind of stuff that oftentimes are affiliated with these maps, stuff like that, right? But then if they had different add-ons, like enhance your living season or enhance your season pass or whatever, right? So then like if you had that season pass, or if you paid a blanket amount, or if you did like a subby kind of thing, right? You would get like an additional collection or an additional quest on the maps. You would get an additional set of weapons or an additional tier of special effect on that weapon if you did whatever thing on the map, or you would get access to, I don't know, you know what I mean, like a unique mount skin. That you could like you could get a unique mount skin if you grind out like.
Wait, if they gave you a mount skin with a battle pass for like that month,
we've talked about this before. This has been
one
of those things we've talked about.
I've always been like weapon collections.
They should
or, like,
do loads. They
little
could do
back
anything.
items, but like a mount, like at the end, like an awesome, like the type of mount that you pay like 1,600 gems for. I would battle pass Guild Wars 2 forever.
That's the thing. Why don't they do this? It's a good
idea.
I mean,
I think a lot of it is, to be fair, right? Like we're critiquing this, we're talking about this, right? I think a lot of it is that we are right now at a point where there's a shift in mentality for MMOs and monetizing them. We've seen some games do these kinds of online co-op things very badly. We've seen some MMOs do these kind of additional payments very badly. But we've also realized that like there is both a demand for free-to-play games, but also a demand for quality within those games. You cannot have quality without financial backing. You just cannot. You literally won't have the people to work on it. You won't even be able to keep the servers running, let alone hold some kind of release date. So there has to be more of a middle ground. And I think that like Guild Wars 2 is right now reconsidering a lot of this and trying to figure out what will work for them moving forward. I don't know, like they have sold themselves so long as a no sub game as a major selling feature of the game, which is also why a lot of people get into it, that again, we've talked about this, but I don't know if they could ever just do like a really traditional subscription. Optional sub, possibly something like a battle pass, I think would also be interesting. And again, I think that if they provided some baseline of this, this is permanently free, and then gave some kind of additions, I honestly think, knowing the player base, that people would just do it. Like Kroof, you lit up when it was like, wait, you mean like with this episode, I could get this mount if I had the battle pass, and then if I did that, or I worked, or I played however many hours, or I met whatever the goals were, like I could get this cosmetic, or I could get this thing. People would absolutely do that, And I don't think it would feel like at that point, again, that they were shortchanging us, because everybody would still get the season. You'd still be able to do stuff like whatever the hot meta was. You'd still be able to participate. But if you wanted these additional features, if you wanted this additional stuff, you could get it. And there would be a very clear-cut way to do that. And
it's not
I like
a story
that.
thing. It's not like tied to anything else. I mean, maybe you can do anything. I mean, there's battle passes like Sea of Thieves, which are really good, where you basically just do anything and you get progress. So you kill a skeleton, it's like part of a mini achievement, which is like you've killed 20 skeletons, or you've you've killed a kraken. Then you get a little bit towards this other achievement, your battle pass goes up. And then you could assign, maybe don't assign achievements to it, because that's like pay to win for achievements. But it's more of like sections in this thing. I don't know, but yeah, I would.
Or just like utilize existing dailies, or just add on to the dailies. So the dailies that you do, it further increases your progression of that battle pass system.
Yeah, that's a good idea as well.
And then you can introduce like weeklies and monthlies, because if a battle pass is tied to that specific episode, that would run for like 2 or 3 months. That would give players enough time to actually like play at their own pace. Well, maybe if they wanted to go harder, they could get it faster. If they weren't as free, they could still have that time to catch up.
I mean, they've got the system in there, technically, with reward tracks.
It's like a reward track, basically.
It is just a reward track. I mean, honestly, you do a certain piece of content, in World v World, you progress that track by playing World v World. You progress the PvP track by playing PvP. Like, it would just be a general reward track where it's monetary and you can get a unique skin. Then again, people will be sad that skin is not available for a raid and everything else. But I would argue this is an optional additional thing to help our company that we like to make the game, which is fine. I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, to me, it's one of those things where as long as the game is still providing cosmetics, right? As long as you can still get the things you want to get, and there's a lot of cool gear in this game and a lot of, all these other options. And as long as it isn't something that is like super, super predatory, you know what I mean? I think having a clear goal, like you said, Krufu, would need to be communicated. Like, this is what you need to do. These are the tiers of the thing, right? But like, to me as a player, I would feel more incentivized to get that thing and then put the hours in. And a lot of times I feel like with battle pass systems, they can maybe even sometimes charge a little bit less than what you might expect from like a recurring subscription or stuff like that. Because part of the return is that you have people logging into your game. Part of the return is that they are running the content in the game. Part of it is that, I had never played Fall Guys before. Not even once. But it just went up free on Epic.
Why have you not played this game?
I still haven't actually.
Yeah, it just went up for free on Epic.
Oh my god!
Oh, awesome!
A Lightbringers Fall Guys stream? I'm in there. Yes, let's do it.
We did it with some of my mods, and it was so much fun. And I had never touched the game before, and I logged in, and we had done however many rounds or whatever, and then I looked at my little season pass currency, because there are some options that you can only get when they're paid, but everybody earns season pass stuff, right? And I was like, oh, if I do like 3 more matches, I can get those cute glasses. And then I went, I might never play this game again. But in the back of my head, I was like,
of course. Yeah, but that's what Twitch drops are like as well. This last week.
Stream.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this last week, I've been watching Albion Online. I've been having Albion Online streams, and I'm like, when
I did that with
you
Overwatch.
don't even play it. Yeah, Overwatch as well. Exactly.
I was like, oh, I want to try this out. I'll watch it for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And a huge part about getting people in, it's like people will drop it. It's just having people in the game is also a really positive influence on other players, because they see that people are online, people are playing, you don't feel as lonely. And what's worse than feeling alone when you're playing an MMO? I can't think of anything. So when you're able to see a lot of people playing in those maps, playing in PvP, in World versus World, it encourages you to keep playing until you feel like you're a part of something. So I think it works well for MMOs.
Agree. This is a great conversation. We're always going to have this. Boots has been very quiet. Are you on your phone? We can see your screen.
He's busy. He's getting his new phone set up.
He's just excited. That's okay.
I'm listening.
Boys
and I agree with
toys.
Everything you guys are saying.
I love that's the very neutral, positive response. I agree. You're all saying amazing stuff.
Oh wait, I could take it one step further. Rook is saying the most good stuff.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Wow.
We're just sucking up now. This is like amazing. Go on. Yeah. Is that it? Is that?
Oh no, sorry. And Jebro, you are saying also very good stuff. And Kroof, you especially are saying good stuff.
Thank you.
Wow.
I got the especially.
You did. I got good stuff. I just got good stuff. I'm fine. Okay. Website wise, I think we could probably carry down that conversation line a little bit longer. I would love to do I'd love to do a stream one day where we can design things, like design a reward track and have someone do
Photoshop.
that. Yeah, if anyone wants to do that, I'm
down.
I don't think I could do it on the fly very well. If you wanted to do that, I would be up for that for sure.
I just did it with the Firebrand rework. I liked the whole
Oh yeah,
I did the
okay.
mock up everything.
Did you get
I get invested with this stuff.
Okay, I would be up for doing that for sure.
I have a question. How do we feel about, because this is the buy page. Our overall impressions seem to be very positive. How do we feel about Guild Wars 2's official website with the context that we might see more people coming in with this Steam release?
I think it's old and outdated. I think it was old and outdated when they made it. Honestly, it was just they gave it this classic look, which was very refined and very much like, oh, Guild Wars 2. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but it was just, it's not bad, but everything's at the top. You have to go to the top to because you can see the really basic stuff. It's like news. If you go to any of, maybe I can go to some examples, but they just seem to be more impactful. Like the Guild Wars 2, it's a white background. It's got the sketchy art, which is beautiful. It's not very much like, you know, there's not like that hardcore landing page that you get for some games where they've got the official, like if you've never been there before, like that page is different to the page which you would normally go to access everything else. Do you know what I mean? Like the landing page or whatever it's called. They need to update it. They just do.
I agree. And I looked at this page and, you know, talking about like the block design and having those like clear indicators. I think when people want to know more about Guild Wars 2, I would love if they just took this and instead of like expansions, they were like PvE, PvP, world versus world, like endgame, professions, combat. And then you could go to those specific areas and get information on the game. I also like the white background. There isn't a dark mode for Guild Wars 2's website, is there?
Only
like,
the forums, which we found out last week.
It hurts my eyes. And so I just love this website because I was like, oh wow, it's just like clean.
Yeah, that new website, I love like the color palette. I love how they have stuff displayed. I agree because like I just pulled up the website, right? And literally 3/4 of the page as I scroll through it are news blocks. So like at the very top, there's a little banner that's like the future of Cantha is now. And then I scroll down underneath it and like that banner scrolls and it goes through and it, you know, says 16 million players. And, you know, you can click play free. But then underneath that, the entirety of the rest of the page is news. So like here are the different blog posts, which is helpful if you are a returning player curious about what's happening in the game. But then off to the side in a little tiny panel is the dragon cycle that has sustained and blighted Tyria for ages is collapsing. Learn more. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's like the recent expansion. I don't know if that the artwork looks kind of the same as the other stuff, but like, what does that mean? So
wasn't there a page that was made not too long ago? I want to say a year, maybe 2 years ago, that was supposed to be for new players.
There's been multiple like new player pages. The one with like the CGI lightsaber trailer.
Maybe.
I think that was.
I don't know.
Oh no, wait, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like it included sort of like basic guides for new players.
Yes. And it's like, here are your hotbar keys, and here's your dodge thing.
Yeah. It would be great if they had a button up on the menu that just said new players. Click here.
Well, they've got this bit with like the combat where you can click. Was that just what it was? I mean, but it feels like. But this has got a sire who is a legendary dev for like Guild Wars, but isn't even there anymore. And like, you know, he's not been there for a while, and there's still like, I think this is how old this is. I think this is actually like beta or before the game even launched, like footage of like talking about combat, and I feel like it's evolved since then. Because if you think about, because you probably got, I haven't actually played that. I would be interested to see if they talk about the Trinity and it not being a thing. Because it is a thing again now, really, honestly. Like, it kind of exists.
It never marketed itself as a game that didn't have a Trinity.
I guess they never said no, right?
The community started to do that because their Trinity was damage, support, and control. They were really leaning into those titles. So I think, I think
I remember interviews, though. When there are interviews where they said we don't have like the typical trip, I'm pretty sure they did talk about that.
Typical, but then actually Colin Johansson, I was watching an old video in like 2015 or 2016 during Heart of Thorns. He said that like we never saw Guild Wars 2 as a game without the Trinity. We just saw it as a different take on the Trinity.
Right,
so they were all trying to go after it, but I feel like the messaging got lost in the community and the marketing aspect of it.
There's also oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, you're on this page with combat information, right?
Yeah.
So somebody in chat said, oh, well, if you go to,
game at the top.
Gosh. Hold on. So if you go, you're on the main landing page. Oh my gosh, this is such terrible design. I haven't even looked at this. This is so horrible.
Have you never done it before? You've never done it? Oh, wow.
Well, here, let me just explain because I'm going to take everybody on a journey that I've been having in the background during this conversation.
Do you want music?
So, somebody said, okay, well, there is a new player page. If, I think Kafa said this in chat, you go to services, and then you go down to new player guide. So I click on... So here's the thing. I click on new player guide. New player guide takes me to a
What?
page in which the top navigation bar that even had the services tab and stuff on it vanishes. I can't even go to those other tabs unless I back page and then click on a different tab again.
I've got those.
Oh, I don't have them on mine.
Oh,
on mine,
okay.
they're not up there.
Oh, I have mine.
Oh, I've got them.
Weird. Maybe it's because, I had the page half size, so possibly mobile. And when I open it full, they show up, but they don't adapt for what might be more of a mobile view.
So
they don't show up for me. So then you scroll down the page and it tells you about Homeworld, creating your character, movement, tutorial instance. You get down to combat.
Homeworld?
And it has all of these different little categories of your skills, and you can hover over them and they'll highlight, but you cannot click. So if I'm curious, I'm like, what is an elite skill?
Oh, this is cool.
Highlights, like I can click on it, but it won't let you click on elite skills. So you don't get any more information about what is an elite skill.
Oh, it just
How
highlights
do I use it?
Also, they have mislabeled endurance as energy. Anyways.
So all of this to say, what caught my attention is that, was it Crew for Boots who was saying when you come, maybe it was everybody collectively, that when you land on a landing page for an MMO, right, you want it to be this almost dynamic cinematic experience where in one second, you get an impression of how you will feel playing the game. And down, like, you see this thing and here's the swoop and a dragon goes by and it's Guild Wars 2. And then underneath it, you see, like, you know, become your avatar in a world of fantasy and science, and then you've got the char and you can hover over it and this thing pops up and it's like, this is what the char are. And then you scroll down further and it's like, fight your way through a dangerous world, and you see the classes and they give you some really catchy little blurb about, like, you are a guardian, someone who protects your ideals and fights with the conviction of your beliefs, or whatever it is, right? And in that one moment, you are already, your eyes are big and you're going like, I want to play as that cat thing. Oh my gosh, I love this theme for my character. And you scroll down and then, like, maybe at the bottom, there's a little thing that's like recent news or whatever. And you can navigate off to the other pages. But, like, as it is, I get no sense from this landing page other than some kind of cool splash art about, like, why I should feel a connection to this game. Like, what is compelling me to be like, I already feel like somebody has opened the door for me and I have one foot through it, and all I need to do is click on the purchase now, play for free, grab, like. So I do think this actually really does need to be looked at, because even the who in the world, for one, thinks to go to a services tab for a new player guide, for two, what is this guide even?
Like this, you should have, when you're on the landing page, if we're going with this block with, like, thumbnails and in-your-face poppy marketing, the first square should be like new player guide. Click that, it takes you directly to this site, and it shouldn't be something that where you have to search in the services tab for. And then, of course, you could, like, once you've gotten this covered, go back to the home page. You have the other things that you can look at with PvE, combat, classes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when you actually look at the official expansion websites, because each Guild Wars 2 expansion has its own separate website
And
that
DLC.
they made for it.
And Living World as well. Each episode has its own website as well. It used to. Yeah.
Or its own website?
Yeah, they had their own websites. Do you
Wow.
remember? They would. Yeah, they
thought they were just
released,
blog
like,
posts.
I think maybe it was the festivals, maybe more specifically. But each did, yeah. Back in the day, as far as I remember, they had, like, there was, like, yeah, there was. If anyone wants to link it, it's up in the chat for sure. But
Well,
yeah, they used to.
What I was doing is I was linking a few websites that are like game websites that.
Yeah, I've got some up, like Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
So
like
Final
Atlantic.
Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 14, if you Google it, it's got the first thing that pops up is free trial, and you can go to that website specifically. So you can go to the free trial. So Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that. Like, they don't have a thing where it's like guildwars2.com/free trial, play Guild Wars 2 for free, I guess, like, or whatever. They don't have that, so Final Fantasy is really good for that. And then you've got the normal website. But then I went to Elder Scrolls Online, and I thought they had more of a. Theirs is actually a little bit similar to Guild Wars 2, but they've still got the like latest expansion. They've kind of got this banner up the top which gives you a little bit more. But what other? And they've got some inbuilt trailers and stuff. But yeah, if you've got any good examples, link them and I'll throw them out for sure. Guildwars2.com.
Yeah, as I was saying with the expansion websites, they feel much more cinematic. They are a little bit. Heart of Thorns was a bit different format. It was an old time. It was like going from left to right. But the other expansions, like even with End of Dragons, it's so much more up to date in terms of like scrolling down the page and you get the information in those blocks on the web page, and it's much more digestible. You're getting everything that you are looking for a new player or a returning player. And the main core website doesn't have that satisfying cinematic experience or satisfying informational experience either.
I've never seen this. I've never seen this before.
Oh, wow.
There is so much different stuff. Where is this from? I didn't even know this existed.
This was from like 2019, I think.
Really?
There's actually good information in here.
Yeah, but Cruz, why isn't this in the game?
I mean, well, that's
this
true.
in the game?
But like, you have to go to the service. This should be like the news. I like that there is a news section. Okay.
Yes.
But that's the only thing at the bottom of the landing page. That news should be shifted to the side.
Yeah.
Have certain categories to identify that news piece as like update, patch notes, or blog post, so that it's not like, what am I clicking on? What is this news article? There's a lot that is outdated with the Guild Wars 2
I love this
landing.
gathering bit. It's so funny.
Oh, I know, it's so goofy. Like, I would say pull up. I posted Final Fantasy XIV's landing site, and then also Genshin Impact's landing site, because I think that both of those do a good job of, again, creating that feeling that you've already almost put your foot in the door. Like, just to compare contrast, because like,
let me grab.
I think the experience you have on either, like on the Guild Wars 2 site versus these sites, is very different. And I personally feel more compelled to like try the game off of these websites.
Which one would you like me to show that you think gives the best example?
I think either one is pretty cool. 14, I think is good from an MMO standpoint, but Genshin Impact is actually really cinematic in a way that I think evokes a sense of the game, right? That idea of creating a sense of the game, like a window into it before you've ever even played the game. And this is not me endorsing Genshin Impact, because I think there are some really good design choices in it, but also so much nonsense.
Yeah, we're just looking at
components.
but we're just looking. We know what you're trying to do. It's okay.
This is mostly just like
contrast those with like what Guild Wars 2 recently did with End of Dragons.
So yeah, like here on the
That's
screen,
better.
Jebro has Genshin up. One of the things that I think is so neat is that they're already giving a player, and I think there's probably arguments for how clear or not clear this is, but they're already giving you a choice to feel as though you yourself are taking action in the world, because you have to click on this thing. Like, what is this interesting little tidbit? And then I click on it, and magic pulses out.
Well, that's actually very awesome. It's a bit laggy on my side, sorry, but like, yeah. Oh yeah, that's cool. What's this? Sorry, I'm live reacting. More content, yes. Let me go for here. Play. Is that a trailer for the game?
Yeah, it looks like they have a trailer, some of the newest stuff up that you can immediately click on.
Honestly, the combat in this game is good. The combat is very, very good.
Yeah.
But just a side random comment. But you've got download up there on the top right. You've got, the world, which seems very live. You've got all the app stores. You've got PS5, PS4. What systems it's on. I mean, you've got the basic information for a new player, right? I mean,
can you scroll down on that page? I don't even know.
Oh, you can, yeah. Then you've got the news and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And the follow us on the right hand side with the Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Reddit, everything else.
Like, there's definitely still some things to critique about this website. Like, for example, there's some things that coming soon down at the bottom, or the fact that they don't even delineate that those are like characters you can play.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, because I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, like
like
the
a world.
news panel is again more consolidated. It's not like this huge thing that takes up a bunch of the page. You
Yeah.
can see that there's been recent updates, but again, it's just one small facet. And then as you scroll down, there's, you know, more stuff. I mean, like the 14 website, I think, too, again, like when you go onto that website first, there are a lot, like the 14 website is very polished. Very, very,
Is
very
this
polished.
Okay, yeah, that one. Okay.
Genshin, I think, takes it a little far in the direction as far as like a cinematic thing. But it does give you a sense of like, oh, I want to be in that beautiful world, right? Oh, I want to be in a fantasy. Like, I think that part of it is cool. 14 feels better from an advertisement perspective as far as MMOs go, where see immediately the first thing you see is adventure awaits you beyond the horizon. It's your adventure. It tells you about the players, it tells you about the awards and nominations. Immediately underneath it, it shows you like, look at all these different characters that you can make in the game. And then what is Final Fantasy 14? And then it says, live your story. Like as you scroll down the page. It is text heavy. That's one good critique, I think. But again, I feel like as you
much better.
Yeah,
I
it's not
think
too bad.
just the positioning of the text.
But look at this. Look at this when
fun
you
to
scroll
my
down.
eyes.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you
no,
mean.
the overall layout, what you're saying is like also the copy that they are going with in terms of what they've written. Adventure awaits you. Great taglines. Guild Wars 2 has that with like a living, breathing world, but they don't. The page isn't selling it. This sells it to me.
Yeah, and as you scroll down further, you see like fight. So that's the combat section, and then after that, you see adventure is what
can
you
click on
make of
drops and
it.
stuff.
Yeah, and you can immediately
good.
start seeing what all the classes are, what limit
Fashion
breaks
at the top.
are.
That's it. I'm sold. You know, like you're right. But like it's. But then it talks about, and I'm not sure who mentioned that earlier. I think it was maybe you, Rick, or Criff. I'm not sure. When you say no, I think it was you, Criff. You said, you know, saying PvP, world v world, all these different things. Like that's what they've kind of got here. Like crafting, gold source. Although this is the side. I said this is the side of it outside of just like the main gameplay, I guess. But like that's really good. And then it's got the expansions. You can click on those. That's pretty decent, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, again, this isn't to say like. The thing is that Guild Wars 2 has all of these selling features and more. But when I look at the landing page of Guild Wars 2's main website, I get none of that. You know, it's like, I'm actually really glad that you brought this up, Kroof, because I literally don't remember the last time I was on that website. But if I had clicked it without being referred to this game by a friend, by people I knew on stream, by people I probably would have been like, okay, you know what I mean? Like
where do
I don't know.
how am I going to get sold on this from this website? Especially because Guild Wars 2 over the last 10 years has only had this website. It's never been on Steam. You have to go through this website to download the game. And in hindsight, that even kind of stings a bit worse because now that we might have this Steam system, it's very like everything's pretty much the same. You know what to expect when you're going on Steam, but like this was all that they had to like sell the game on.
There you go. That's a good point. I mean, at least it's going to be on Steam. I mean, that's a good thing. At least we'll take that as the good thing. That's a good thing. ESOs is not bad as well. I'll tell you what the different thing about ESO is. They've got the streamers on their main page at the bottom.
Ooh.
They do.
Content creators, community tabs.
I've been on
That's
there.
also a big thing.
Well,
Yay,
and
it's good.
especially with drops and stuff, right? So like ESO realized that in order to have visibility and like word of mouth, more and more content creators are becoming a massive part of that, right?
Yes.
If you're looking at a new game, maybe you are Twitch savvy, not everybody is, but you go to Twitch, you look at the streaming categories, and if there's like 2 people playing it, and there's like not much going on, you know, that can be a deciding factor. So ESO realized, because they didn't have the most successful launch, like I love the game, but like
it was
they
very
also-
bad.
Yes,
It was
like, they
almost
have had-
Final Fantasy 14, like destroy the
Level
world and
bad.
start
Yeah.
again bad. It was close. It was close.
it was pretty terrible. So they have had to make a really conscious effort to
Yeah.
change the community perception, the large scale reach of the game, to advertise in unique and unconventional and interesting ways, to redesign elements of the story, refresh and constantly update. To get people constantly having doors open up along the way, like, oh, maybe I tried that, but maybe I'll try it again, you know? They're constantly trying to foster that. So part of how they did that was by really tapping into and developing this partnership team, enhancing visibility, and or making people feel as though Twitch is a place they need to be and want to be if they want to be a part of the community and if they want to get cool stuff. So like with all the drops, all the things, they integrate, right? You've got your partners and content creators featured on that front page, which drives you to Twitch. On Twitch, you learn that you can get drops on. So like it creates this cycle of visibility.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
ESO is a really good example of a company turning their game around, honestly. Like, they actually changed. So just before I stopped streaming, I think they had started their stream team, which is like kind of partner program. And I think I was quite early in there, but like they basically, the big change for ESO is actually one Tamriel, where you can go and play in whatever map you want at what level. Even in the latest DLC, you can just go in there and play.
Can we get that for Guild Wars 2?
I mean, that would be sick. Honestly, I think it would be. Like, you can just go wherever you want, and that was the game changer moment. And then, like you said, then they've got all of these different loops and cycles that people can go in, and it feels like they're always going around in circles. And like there is always something going on. I would argue that drops are a little bit too frequent on the ESO, so it doesn't feel that special.
Good point.
Yeah, because I think drops can be.
Oversaturation.
Yeah, I think they really can be, because then you feel obligated to do this thing and then just be there, and then it just. I feel like, yeah, there's too many games that just rely on drops to make you go to the channels to saturate the Twitch directory too hard, and then you can see the fall off when the drops go down. That just never sustains. So now some games just have permanent drops on, so they've always got this crowd. It's so interesting. But all of your points, I mean, I'm loving this kind of website analysis, because it's something I do for sure. And it's like with anything, right? And I've been looking for jobs recently, you know, and even researching things for like being a counselor. I've just been like, what's their website look like? How are they communicating to me? What their clientele, what communities they appeal to, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't like that. So I'm not sure, you know, if they can't make a good website, what are they going to be like? They could be great, but anyway, you know, it's just interesting. I've never seen this new player guide. I've never seen it. Wow. I'm not a new player, so it's not directed to me, so it doesn't matter too much, but it's okay. But like, it tells you everything that should be in the tutorial, like in a tutorial. But then and I forgot about, this is where it is. It's the release page, the Living World stuff. This is where they have the release pages for the episodes. And you used to, for Icebridge Saga and everything else, like there was because they used to have, you know, specific pages where they would show you, you know, like Guild Wars 2 Super Adventure Box. There is the bits where it tells you about the different skins you can get, and there's different screenshots for like different areas of the maps and blah blah blah. And these were good little sites, but there were so many. And you're like, what do you gain access to? Where do you gain access to it? Like on the one advertisement they put out for a blog post, and then they're just
there's
dead
gotta
pages.
be like a festivals tab or something.
Yeah, there should be some, but like this has got episodes as well.
Here.
I agree. I don't think the festivals need to be here.
Like, it's just a long list. You don't have any clear.
I do like the SAB page though. The SAB page is good.
The what page?
The SAB one, the one I've got on stream right now.
Oh, the Super Adventure Box.
It's pretty cool. It's just because it looks good. I don't know. I've always loved the funness of this. Honestly, it's. I'm not going to say that.
I like that they have leaned into the aesthetic of Super Adventure Box, but is there almost any other MMO I know of that, like, as a part of their expansions and game content tab is like, and here's each of our independent in-game seasonal events that we run.
Yeah, right. It's weird.
And it's like
feels
up
like
to date. Like they all
events are pretty large though.
They are, which I think is a selling point, but that is something that I would put into like. Right, we saw that category on the 14 page that said, you know, what, make your own adventure, and they had tabs and stuff, right? Yeah. So like you could have like a thing on that or something that says like involved festivals or, you know, seasonal celebrations that take it to a new level or something like that, where then there would be just like a general summary of that. Otherwise, to me, when I look at it, I get the impression that like there's not much happening in the game, so they just talk about the events that go every year.
It's weird.
Which is not the case, because the seasonal events are great in Guild Wars 2, and I actually think they are really unique and fun, but like, again, right, like it feels disjointed, and I hope that with some of these other changes we've seen to the web page with the purchase stuff, that looks great. So I'm hoping maybe behind the scenes they do finally have some kind of web page update for the main page, so that if people are curious or they're hearing about it on Steam, or you know, they want to route to it or learn more, they can get that sense immediately of the world they're going to be stepping into, and how magical and interesting and unique it can be, right?
Okay. Should we talk about the article a bit?
Sure.
I think we could go on. We could go on for a while on this, but it's good and fun. But I know that I don't want to make it ridiculously long. So I know we've probably got an hour, what ish?
An hour.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was good. I love that. I wish I'd actually just done the podcast.
I participated.
Yes, you did.
I mean, you definitely.
Good job.
I gotta be honest with you. I've been trying to delete like a ton of bloatware on this thing, and it's really annoying. And apparently, some things can't be deleted, so I'm gonna have to like go into the developer mode and like run commands to delete them. And
Wow, you were really getting in there, aren't you?
gonna have to.
Okay. Well, as long as you're happy with what you're doing, then that's okay.
Really like Jebro's like unintentionally or intentionally passive aggressive. Like, wow, you're really getting into it on the podcast, aren't you?
On the podcast.
As long as you're happy with
I'm back.
your life choices.
Oh no, I don't care. Both can do what they want, but like, I'm genuinely just being judgmental. So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a joke. Oh, what was it? No, I'm joking. I am joking. I'm very happy for you. That's the thing is that I kind of do sometimes the same kind of stuff, so I can kind of relate. So
It's gonna take me like a week to properly set this up.
yeah. How long do you reckon like you would need for each individual task?
Oh no.
What?
So how about that?
What is it? If you could have anything, I'll give you the miracle question. Okay. So miracle question is a very big thing in therapy. Like if you could change one thing if you could do one thing that would change your life, like what would it do? What would it
Add
be?
$1 million to my bank account.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that seems like the right answer,
Yeah.
right? Because then you could do
Honestly,
anything with $1 million.
Yeah, I feel like
That was not a question that you're going to be answering. This is not on the
money
podcast.
doesn't solve all problems, but it definitely makes things a lot better.
That helps
Miracle,
alleviate a lot of those
normally people
problems.
refer it to their immediate life circumstances because they've gone into therapy for reasons. So for us at the moment, not the best place to answer that question. It was more in relation to your phone. If you could have one thing on your phone, what would it be, I guess?
$1 million.
True.
In your cash
You just
app
got
account?
stacks on stacks.
Okay.
Just on top of it, yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to the website. We're going to talk about this website is beyond too much, by the way. It's just like on the
By the way, that's
sides.
what my phone looks like right now with all the bloatware.
Yeah.
What?
So sad.
That is not what the website looks for me when I've been on it.
Really?
Oh,
have-
that's
you have an
because
ad
I have
block.
ad block.
There you go.
Oh, you've got ad block on. Wow.
Could you imagine Guild Wars 2 started running ads?
No.
For, like,
All right,
random-
I'm gonna just zoom in, I guess. There you go.
Those ads will still
Yeah,
like
just get
find
in
a way
there.
to creep in.
Also, Jebro, not that I endorse this because I mean, obviously, the companies need to get paid too, but like, get yourself an ad blocker. Why are you doing no ad blocker? Get it on.
No, I don't know why I don't have it. I think it's because of YouTube
I like to
and
support
stuff.
people.
Yeah, I don't have it on because of when I go onto YouTube, I want to watch the ads for people to support my friends.
If it's a 15-second ad, I will watch it.
Yeah,
My
If it's
YouTube
a
ad-
minute ad, I'm skipping it. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. My YouTube ads still play. I just don't get this nonsense on my websites.
Oh, okay, maybe. I think I'm just lazy. I don't know. I used to have ad blocker on everything. I
That's
didn't.
valid.
Maybe I just. I don't know. Everyone's judging me now.
Welcome. Well, Jeb, you just judged Boots pretty hard, so now we're just returning the favor.
Yeah, but
okay,
that
let's
was
talk about
kind of
this interview.
that's true. I karma returned. It was returned. So what, Rook? Do you want to say that? What was this article? What you linked it? You were like, why did you link it to us in the Discord?
Because Cassie told me it was good, and then I sent it to all of you. No, I'm kidding.
It's Cassie's fault.
I did hear.
So if there's anything offensive and horrible in here, it's Cassie's fault as well.
No, I mean, it's just interesting. An interview came out recently. Guild Wars 2 advertised it and talked about it, but it also made its rounds on my Discord. So thank you to everybody who passes this stuff, because then I pass it on to other people, right?
Nice.
That was an interview with both Joe Kims, and then Indigo Book, who work on the narrative and story for Guild Wars 2, where they were talking specifically about bringing back Living World Season 1, as well as a little bit of what's in store for our next episode.
Yeah. There was some things that I highlighted. So interview with Joe Kim's Season 1 team lead and Indigo Brock, who is the Season 1 narrative lead.
Book, yeah. There's one thing I definitely highlighted coming up. And I think it's in the new festival coming up. Okay,
well, I've got a little bit before that, if that's all right.
Okay, that's fair.
You would highlight that, Boots.
Is that okay, Boots? Is that all right, Boots? Is that okay?
That's all right with me. I'm good with that.
Okay, just making sure.
Get back on my phone for a little bit.
This is the one time I want to talk.
We can give you space soon to talk. That will be okay. We'll make sure we come to you first.
Oh my goodness, I'm so ready.
That is festival specific. Okay.
Perfect.
There was a question here. It says, firstly, why did the team decide to revisit Season 1 as this series of story-based episodes in Guild Wars 2? I think we all probably already know the question to answer. You needed to. They could have just done a short answer, like, we really needed to.
Yeah.
Like, that was
it's been
just
years since this pivotal content has been in the game.
Thank you, Griff. That was the perfect. You really do need to be writing.
Yeah, that would be my PR release. We needed to, period.
You can imagine it as being one of those little, those. Oh my god, the splash screens. Season 1.
We needed
to.
They were much more articulate about this, but basically that is what it says.
It was very fancy and florally.
Oh, I've just got the image in my head. It's so good. I really need you to make this.
Effective communication, straight to the point.
Can you make a YouTube video, Crew, please? Oh,
I
can't.
Made hundreds. What are you talking about?
No.
Crew, could you please make at least one YouTube video?
Wow, Jebro, you don't watch my vids. Wow.
You should really be in content creation.
I watch your video. I literally comment on your videos because your thumbnails are really good.
I've been improving my thumbnail game too.
No, they are. They're great. Like, because if you go, mine are just text with like, an image, but yours is like, you've got you there, you've taken a picture, you've made the effort to like go around it. And like, that takes a while to do that. Like, that is not easy. Because if you're like me, I'm really perfectionist with that stuff. I'm like, oh, there's a little bit of, oh no. Oh, really? Well, you need to teach me how to do that quick because that wasn't good. Go and watch. Like, Creeper's doing a lot of YouTube stuff, and they're all doing great content. Please make sure you go and follow everyone here. They're doing great things, seriously. Okay. Why did I highlight this? Okay, so they said this was... Actually, I don't know who answered this, but they said fitting it into story chapter releases compared to its original seasonal structure made the most sense. We wanted it to play just like the later releases in Season 2 and onward. So they really wanted to make sure that they did have those pieces in there where it's just easy. Like Living World, Season 1, Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, achievements, same standard thing, because like you said, like, because it needed to be. It was just missing. So I think I just highlighted it because it's like, yeah, we need to have it in there. But they had to do it differently, right? Because it was just released differently, it was done differently completely, so they had to rewrite bits and they had to redo bits. So it wasn't just as simple as like copy and paste, bish bash bosh, it's in there,
Yeah, because there's a bunch of 2 releases every 2 weeks, and they're much smaller than these big packages of things. And so, yeah, we're used to having like a nice solid chunk every 2 months now, and that's what they're packaging it as.
I think they said it was more in the world as well, right? So it wasn't like instanced as much, and so this is produced, because I can't remember a specific. I'd have to go back and have a look and see if I've got gameplay of it, but it's different to how it came out back then.
I did like that in this little blurb, part of it mentioned upgrades to our storytelling tools have helped us out. Since the original release of Season 1, we've developed a lot of improved methods for having player-specific story in the open world, and that let us bring back the old content into a linear structure in ways that wouldn't have worked at the time. So I thought, I was actually glad that you highlighted this, Jeb, because that bit stood out to me too, where I was going, for a long time, everybody kept saying, like, why can't you just bring it back? Why can't you just do it? And they talked a lot about the fact that, we weren't sure if, like, the assets just didn't work, or if they had lost all the files, or, whatever it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the idea here that, I mean, like we were talking about, even that core game experience versus what we have now in game, they have refined and developed their actual storytelling, capabilities within the game, including a full range of stuff like how they integrate story instances in the open world, how they can have special events or unique events and stuff that pop up. So this allowed them to mix a little bit more and restructure in a linear way while still kind of having you do some of that stuff that Boots brought up, where you're kind of going map to map, and they were these shorter burst activities and little things that were coming out. So
it's such an important, that's the thing though as well, like as soon as they start to develop these tools, like trying to assign those and trying to relate them to the older content, I expect is a massive challenge, which is why they probably weren't able to do it as quickly as we may have wanted or liked to. But I'm glad they're talking about it. It's weird that this is on some random article on some website that I've barely ever heard of, though. So, like, I'm kind of like, it would have been cool. Sorry, not to like insult the website. Side swipe there.
But like, the bus, through the shade. You said, I've never heard of you. Who are you? Why
you're making it worse.
Well, you said that. You said that, Jebro. Verbatim.
I like Kroof is just like putting me into the road and then waiting for the bus to come over and like, hi, can you just run over, Jebro? Like,
you are the flame and I am the fan.
Thank you.
I will.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. Kroof is destroying my soul this week. But
I'm sure I'm not helping.
I mean, you're just not helping, so. Oh God, I hate you all. I love this podcast so much. You really give me a lot of joy, all of you. Sorry, I need this. I really do. At the end of the week, it's been such a heavy. It's been a heavy few years. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry.
I need this.
Lord. I really do. Okay. Sorry. I'm a little bit randomly emotional. Okay. It's just all sinking in. Yeah, so there was that, and it was, where's the next bit? What's been Oh, yeah, what has been some of the team's favorite story beats when Guild Wars 2 written for Guild Wars 2 over the years? This was interesting. And they were talking about the season 2 as well. It's funny that we've been talking about that. Yeah. And then they're like, the end of season 2 is one of our favorite bits for Joe. Specifically, I don't want to talk for other people when reading that, but yeah, that was interesting. So it really did give us some of these little bits, and it was mainly about Scarlet, right? And the introduction of that. We're getting there now, right? With starting to get there as this season goes along, and season 2 is just like, I cannot wait until the attack on LA happens. I am like
episode 5, baby.
Oh my God, that was still for me one of my favorite things in Living World that's ever happened. I farmed the crap out of that event.
It was so fun.
I loved it. It was so good. I used to lead that event. Like, so was Commander Icons out then?
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
I think so, but without squad. Would Commander Icons out without squads? I can't remember.
Yes, because squads came with Heart of Thorns, right?
I think so. I don't think Commander Icons came out with squads.
Came out. Yeah, the squad UI came out with Heart of Thorns in the raids and stuff.
Okay, so because that was something you could run around. I'm not sure if it was out then by then, but there was some way that you could mark people and you would lead stuff. I led stuff and it was good. Like the whole of like Lion's Arch is just under attack, and you've got all these like different bosses, and there's just mobs everywhere, like everywhere on the map. It was just like you could run around Lion's Arch, and just for a while it was just wrecked, and it was just cool. It was so good, and I'm really hoping they give this justice. I don't know how they're gonna do that. Anyway, sorry, I'm going back to the article. I'm just really excited for it. Honestly, I don't even know how they're gonna do it. But if they mess it up, I'm gonna be sad. It's just like it was really good. Like I watch back the footage every so often. I've got playthrough of it, and you just go through the map, and you just like, it's just all the forces and the animations and the cinematics and Scarlet, and the whole thing is just wicked. It's so good. It just and like from what Rook was saying earlier about the core story in the game and then the difference in the story, I'm just like, yeah, there's definitely improvements. But I still like the core Guild Wars 2 story anyway. It's my baby. Yeah. Anything else? There's Nostalgia of Scarlet. Sorry, I'm starting to remember all the things now. Okay, Scarlet. I love my notes. Like every so often, I'm just like, hype! Scarlet getting a proper intro to the player through linear storytelling, similar to what we used to now.
Definitely. All the changes they mentioned in it definitely sound promising. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, and how maybe and how people like Rook who like haven't played that content before are like, oh, is this good? And like just as a first experience, like, is this the way I would have liked to have had introduced Scarlet and blah blah blah, like, because I never saw that.
I mean, yeah, like I'll be honest, the entirety of Living Season 2 and the revelations that lead into Heart of Thorns are directly tied to what Scarlet did, that like strange event that triggered all these things, the sound and stuff that happened, and like all these different things. Like her research, season 2 has you going around and like going to her hideout, like going through these different tunnels, learning about the research that she did. And having not played that Living Season, the first one, when it was out, I came into it and it was like, I didn't know who any of the NPCs were because they were all introduced in Living Season 1. And 2, I had no idea who this person was. It was like I had been, invited Sherlock Holmes style to investigate a murder, but no one had told me who any of the people at the party were, and no one had told me who the murder victim or possible suspects were, and nobody, like, I was just standing there trying to put these weird things together, like, oh, and I think I remember asking chat, like, who was that? Somebody was like, she was like a Sylvari and she went crazy. And like, again, I don't particularly like using that term in general, but that is how like most people umbrella described what happened. And they were like, and she did bad stuff. And I was like, okay, fine, sure. And Living Season 2. Yeah, like Living Season 2 still hooked me because there were parts that I found interesting, but now I actually get to be at the murder mystery dinner party. I get to be there from the get-go.
It's like the prequel.
I get to, like, yes, and it's not like I'm coming in with half the clues and just like a, like weird little note somebody wrote on a piece of paper, just kind of trying to forge emotional connections and investment to a story. So I'm so glad that they're doing this, and I'm really happy to get to experience it, honestly.
And I think this episode in particular is going to be even more of a genuine experience back from 2013, because I believe in this article they mentioned that it's going to be releasing around the same time as the Queen's Jubilee. Yes. And this was like the festival, like the Queen's Jubilee is like the story of what happened in season 1, and you'll get to experience everything together. So I think that this episode will
all the pavilion stuff
be the most satisfying out of all of the ones that we've had so far.
Oh my god. And they're bringing back season 1 achievements as well that you can do for like the pavilion and stuff as well, I think, right? I think that was in the article.
That'd be great. Yeah. Do you know if this isn't the episode that's going to have the Tower of Nightmares, right?
I'm guessing that'll be episode 4.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Can you imagine? It would have been interesting if they had made instances of these maps that you could go into pre and post Living Story. Because if you think about that map where the tower was, and you think about LA, imagine if you could do that. Like I would probably blow up the game, but like, it would be so interesting. Like if you're a new player though, and there was an instance, because there are games or like in ESO and stuff where things are changed depending on which story you've gone through. Like if you've actually gone and done this part of the quest, like in this small area will be different and you just see it different. I know it's different. It's on a way bigger scale in Guild Wars 2 because you've got Destroyed LA and Weird SeaWorld LA. And like, you know, that's just like, and if you like Weird SeaWorld LA, all like everything to you, like fair play. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I would rather have LA which are completely destroyed. In all honesty, I'm not gonna lie. At least it's edgy that way. LA. I don't know. Yeah. What do you prefer? Maybe we should have a poll in chat. Actually, can we do that? Would you? We're doing it. We know, but I want to have it confirmed. So
I still like old
Destroyed
LA.
LA or SeaWorld LA. Thank you.
I love old LA. I'm still a little sad that there was no ability to explore it fully in the previous episode. Like you still had, it was bounded instances. So I want to have a full LA back just for a little bit.
I can't help but wonder if, like, I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. Really, we don't. So I can't bank on anything and we shouldn't get our hopes up. But again, I think maybe they are making it. I just have this feeling. Somebody pointed out, it might have actually been Kasu, pointed out the fact that Kasu is where I get all of my direct Guild Wars 2 news, and then I talk about, like, I know things.
Well, Kasu comes in, like, we've got Ukon and Obi, and then we've got, and then Kasu is like pops in every so often, and is like, if they're not there, then that's normally the person. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But Kasu had said, and pointed out, and I was like, oh wow, you're so right, this is awesome, that there is some kind of like achievement-y collection for each of the different episodes, like a thing that you get for each that like has some sort of umbrella reference to Lion's Arch, like old LA, like memory of old LA or something like that, right? So it's, yeah, I just don't listen to Obi. That's correct.
That's fair enough, though.
It's called Lion's Memory. So I can't help but wonder if there will be some kind of instance of it. I think it would be really interesting if they, again, like used the like little portal system thing that they had, like where if you walk in the front gate of LA, you could choose an instance. Like I could choose old LA or new LA.
Exactly, yeah.
And maybe post this season, or like, you know, once you got to that point in the story, it would unlock new LA as an option.
Yeah. I'm into it.
Or like have old LA as a guild hall that you could capture.
That'd be cute.
Anyway.
I mean, you could do that because technically the guild office is there still. I'm not sure if that building was there before. Was it?
That would be a bit difficult, I imagine.
Yeah, but it'd still be cool.
Different map instances are always weird because they are like, would they be layered on top of each other? Are they separate maps?
But like, LA style guild hall, I would be down for that because like having the ships, that like going through those buildings is cool.
Like the architecture is just so different between old LA and new LA.
Just made of ships. It's just basically it. It's just actually made of ships like that are there. that were wrecked, that are just old and.
Yeah, there's like ship bridges.
Yeah, ship bridges. That are just ships turned upside down and that are just the decks.
It got renovated into a mall. So.
Yeah. And a SeaWorld. What's the vote looking for? We've got about half the time left live in the chat. Oh wow, 2 people voted for SeaWorld. Who are you and when am I banning you? Sorry. And if that was a mod, don't tell me. don't. That's extreme.
We mentioned the festivals, and with that, I think that leads perfectly into something that Boots wanted to talk about. Because this is
the new festivals come back.
What's in the new festival? Oh, I know why you want to talk about this now. I got to that bit in the document. Yes, there's a document this week, everyone. There is a document. Actually spent a bit of time on that as well. Boots. All right, drum roll. Let me just get some music.
Okay.
I'm going to get the mouth. No, we're going to do Lion's Arch. No, let's do Pickle Patch. Pickle Patch.
Pickle patch.
Pickle? But you were talking about pickles earlier and pickle juice. We were talking about dipping chicken nuggets in pickle juice. So I think that's weird. So just saying.
So, in the next festival, there's gonna be
I don't know.
a skiff race.
Hey.
Oh,
Amazing.
yeah. Skiff race in the new festival. I'm looking forward to it. Was it Festival of the Four Winds, was it? Or
That's for the four ones.
yeah, that's gonna be great.
Also is Queen's Jubilee. They're both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for Festival of the Four. So this is what Joe said. One of my other responsibilities is the game's festival, so I'll give you a little tease and say that I'm working on a new skiff race and adventure as well for Festival of Four Winds. As expected, boats don't really turn on a dime, so it'll hopefully be a bit of a challenge to set a top score. Skiff race and new adventure. What? It's so good.
That'd be really cool.
Boots Heart Adventure, and I imagine it's like what all the dungeon players would react to if they heard like new.
Yeah, new raid.
New adventure.
Question.
Finally.
If the pavilion event, so in the whole part of the story, and correct me if I'm wrong, Scarlet basically took control of all of things in the pavilion and the Clockwork Knights and all that kind of stuff, whatever they're called, Watchwork Knights, sorry. And they invaded Tyria, like core Tyria, with events. So there was loads of events going on. So, and this coincided with the Marionette as well. So Marionette was after, or I'm not sure if that came with it actually, because that was with Living Story, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure about
it was
the
its own
order,
thing, I think.
because it was its own thing, but there was also the events happening. But in the pavilion, Scarlet's there. I'm not going to say too much about it because this is why it all happened. And so the Clockwork, and then pavilion is like celebrating all this stuff, blah blah blah. So it's changed a bit from what it was originally because there's a whole story arc. It's fucking good. So I'm wondering, do you think they're going to bring back like the Clockwork Knight thing, events across Tyria? Do you think that's going to be a thing?
Yeah, I do.
I could see them doing that, but where would they put it? Probably not Queensdale.
It was mostly in. I remember being.
They brought back the events for the first Living World season, right?
They're still there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
in the Char
Charland, yeah.
It's in Norn.
Hunter.
It's in Frostgorge, not Frostgorge Sound. What's the place where? No, it's where the Marionette is. There was a lot of events there.
Oh,
and in those
Monarch
lower
Pass?
level,
That's what I was going to say. I'm wondering if they will do that and then try to create some kind of entry point to the Marionette fight that's in game. Because like right now, right, they were testing stuff with Pool of Memories, but we've seen them kind of remove stuff out of that, and they just like went in and even buffed some of the rewards for Marionette.
What?
You're right, they did.
What did they do with Marionette? What did they buff?
They buffed rewards for it.
But what was the buff?
It's like more
or something.
I'm not sure. If I remember correctly,
It's just more, right?
well, if I remember correctly, in the notes they were pretty vague about it. Like they didn't say specifically. I think it literally just said like buffed rewards for. So
your answer was actually more descriptive, probably.
So
Anyone knows.
Could be that they're going to try to create some kind of entry point there. I mean, it's interesting because they reference in this interview your first fight with Scarlet. So, I mean, I'm assuming that as far as our like story instance stuff, there's probably going to be like a fight with Scarlet in this episode. But I really can't help but wonder if they are going to tie in some kind of connector, whenever. But I would assume this episode, right? Like because the clockwork all came in during this part. So to me, like, it would make total sense to have some kind of cool thing where that leads you to that area where all the clockwork enemies are now, and then you have the option to go in for Twisted Marionette.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. I hope they do that, because then I think you'd see more players do. I don't know. I like that fight a lot.
I think
everyone has to be on their toes type of fight. But I like it.
It's easier than it was, that's for sure. I remember that being but that wasn't an instance before. That was there. Well, I mean, I guess it was instance on the map if it was full, but like, you know, it was live on the map.
You're just gonna give Lornar's Pass a meta event because it doesn't really have a meta.
I mean, right? Wouldn't that be cool?
Honestly,
I'd be up for
I
it.
wouldn't mind like content if we didn't get like a dungeon or a strike mission for a content release. If they gave a meta to a map that didn't have it, that would be fun.
Yeah. I would actually like Marionette as a strike as well. Strike version.
Okay.
Yeah, but like the thing is that
including that into the story would be very important, and I like what you are saying, Rick.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll do it, right? I honestly think that reformatting it into a strike would be, like, to me, right, again, because we're trying to, like, educate and create, like, a consistent understanding of what Guild Wars 2 does and what kind of content it has.
Yeah.
They said only one strike is coming, and I don't think that it's going to be
it's gonna be
Twisted
that.
Marionette,
No.
right? So, like, to me, I don't know if they're going to reformat it into a strike, but this would be such a good place to do it, whether it's this episode or somewhere else, right? They're restructuring things for this season, but like, that is a cool fight, and they put the time in to re-envision it and make it runnable now. So if we had it as part of the lineup of other content and they tweaked it and rebalanced it a bit, like, I think that could be a great one, whether it's now or later, to kind of transition into what would be a strike and like let players engage with it if they want to, and like lead them to it in the story beat when we get to that point, because otherwise it's just like sitting there, you know, like do something a little more with it.
I definitely
feel sad that we're only getting one strike with this season though.
For Twisted Marionette, I expect that when it comes in the story as a story beat, we'll probably have an achievement tied to doing it during that time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe. There's loads of possibilities. It is going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, also, it's a good point as well about the, oh God, what's it called? The back piece that was, you still have back. So there was what was it called? Did someone say the name of it? There was a big back piece you could get, the spinal blades. That's right, I got that. I made a video about that actually. So the spinal blades was this first ever thing that you could really build in Guild Wars 2 that made progress. So it was like it's a backpack, and then it had two blades on. Oh no, it was the backpack first. Then it had two blades that came out. And then it would kind of have more, like, as you added to it. It was like an ascended backpack. I think it was the first one you could make, maybe along with fractals, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first multi-stage ones, and I think it might have been the first ascended back piece.
I think it might have been, actually, because you could get different colors as well.
Yeah.
Depending on which... And it had a glow as well, so a lot of people wanted it, but it was it's not really a long process if you look at it now compared to other things, but like then it felt like a long process, and that was a big thing you could make because it was very like clockworky as well. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but I think I'm. But anyway, I've got it still now, and I'm wearing it on one of my engineers. It just looks cool. It's still good. It's got a little glow on it. But yeah, you can still get some of the items. That you can get some of the sprockets and stuff still if you've got the mining tools and all that kind of stuff, and they still sell bits of it. I don't think there's still the blueprints you need for it though, so they might bring that back because the blueprints were a big thing during those events as well to get those items. Be interesting. There's loads of skins and stuff as well that hopefully, you know, that come back that I'm not sure you can get anymore. Potentially. Anyway.
That would be awesome if they put those back in and add some additional rewards for running that kind of content. Encourage like old players to do it if they tie it to any of the story, getting new players into, like, I think that would be some good bang for your buck.
I'm getting hyped now.
Get an extra color added to it.
Oh, that's actually possible. Yeah, another color added to it, or just maybe an adapted, maybe something where you can make it, maybe you can build on the one you already had from before.
It turns into a glider skin.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Yes.
Remember when gliders were the only thing and we all wanted them to be in the game? Remember when that was a thing?
I think that was Arcage's fault, honestly, because Arcage had like a really sick glider system. And I remember Arcage coming out in the West during Guild Wars 2, and I got really into it, and I was making like character videos, and I made a video of like where to get your first glider and all this stuff. They did gliders ridiculously well. Oh, Arcage, how you went to pay to win.
But I mean, the way that they're talking about it, I feel like episode 3 is going to be all the watchwork stuff. Episode 4, probably Toxic, Nimros, and the Nightmare Tower. And then the finale is Lion's Arch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we think that LA is going, because they mentioned in the article that they're working on 4 and 5 as the article's been released.
Yes.
Do we get the impression that we'll maybe see like the conclusion of this relatively early if this episode is releasing with the festival events with
by the end of the year, do you mean?
Stuff? Yeah, around end of the year stuff.
Did we have a little what's it called, roadmap? Did we have a roadmap?
We haven't had a roadmap. The last roadmap ended at episode 2.
I thought there was a mention about them trying to do this year, right? Because, well, or at least perhaps it's that we've inferred it, because Steam release theoretically is happening this year, and we would assume that they would want all of these episodes done and released for Steam release, you know? So my guess would be that yes, we'll see them before the end of this year. And depending on when they want to do Steam release, right? Like that's the big thing. We don't know. If they do it at the very end of the year, then these 2 episodes will probably come before that. If they do it like, so my guess is that a lot of it right now is a movable point based off of that.
Yeah. We haven't really had much news about that, have we? There's been so much going on.
Has the first 3 episodes come at very predictable times? Has it been 2 months each, or?
The first episode 1 and 2 had a very solid cadence. It was like it was the second month, so there was a month in between, I believe.
Yeah, Free got moved a bit back, didn't it? Didn't they delay it a little bit? I'm not sure.
I don't think they delayed the episode release. I feel like they delayed the strike mission.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did the strike mission. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. I mean.
And we'll hopefully get a summer roadmap sometime soon. Maybe next week or the week after that. Because I believe in the blog post recently they said that they're going to be releasing a summer roadmap.
Isn't it interesting?
Relatively soon.
Isn't it interesting though, like that most MMOs and live services go a little bit quiet over summer? Like that was the old school MMO way, right? That summer was just dead time. Like you're just playing the game and there's not much release because there's people are on vacation and stuff, and even like people who work on the game are, but they're actually not doing. It feels like I feel like maybe companies just are getting better at like just giving people breaks over the year rather than just, here's the summer. Maybe go on vacation if you want, but when you come back, I mean, I'm not saying Arena are like that, but like generally, hopefully people get, to be fair, they've been more open about, letting people work at home. I know for a fact that a lot of people are I'm pretty sure they don't care about me talking about this, and I'm pretty sure they've been open about it anywhere in places where I've seen is that a lot of them are still at home doing their work and they're comfortable with that, and there's no reason for that to change, which is cool, awesome. Stay healthy, stay good, like be comfy, in your space, and that can, when you're in that place, you can visit work if you want to in your own time. Awesome. Wicked. Love it. Keep it up. Don't go back if you don't want to, in my opinion, like just to keep, because they're able to, we can see the work they're putting out. I mean, we can talk about the strike. I mean, the strike is one of the most successful things they've put out for the game that's had such an impact on, all right, not everyone is going to play it, but in terms of like news and in terms of promotion of the game outside of our community specifically, it has been one of the most impactful things ever. Not even talking about expansions, other than maybe mounts specifically and how people talk about that, but probably more so than that because it's very specific.
I think mounts were huge because I think Guild Wars 2 is kind of identified by its mounts right now as one of its things.
Mounts and combat,
hopefully, I mean, strikes can be that as well. They could be identified by how good their strikes are and their CMs. But it's starting to get there. Maybe there's an interest.
We're seeing some growth, which is very important. And that's another aspect about like hardcore content. The Guild Wars 2 is so friendly with its success rate, and you have a really, I'd say, relatively easy time getting into most content. But having something at the higher level where I myself can perfectly say that I will probably not achieve that anytime soon, but allowing those players who want to go after that and let them stream it and show it off at that high level, it's very entertaining, even for someone like myself who likes endgame content, because I'm like, right now it's not even on my radar, but it's just fun to watch, and it is like seeing someone try to work towards his goal. And we saw that with Harvest Temple, and then the media coverage that it got after it was complete with T-Bot and the interview.
It has brought Guild Wars 2 into the light in a way that we have just not seen, as far as, you know, those who might be interested in combat, but with a focus on things like endgame. You don't, like Crew said, you don't have to be somebody that even necessarily wants to do that content, but the interest that is generated from it, seeing, you know, levels of skill. I mean, just think about the Olympics every year, right? Or not every year, but whenever they happen. Think about, like,
I love that idea though. Like, let's
an Olympics every year.
Every year.
It may like,
Well, but the idea is that people, the idea of healthy competition, the idea of striving to attain a goal, the idea of even like showcasing, right? Like the possibilities and capabilities or unique features of a game, something like a really signature fight like this, a showpiece of a fight, can be something that really puts the best out there, so that people see it and they're like, oh, whoa, so they have to dodge this and do that. How do they reach the number? And how many things? And they rotate weapons and this, right? So it creates these incredible conversations around the game, so that no matter what you might be wanting to play, from whatever range of casual to hardcore content, we overall see a boost in just Guild Wars 2's visibility, the conversations happening around it. And especially with stuff like this Liquid interview, people might not realize why this is so important, but I, this past year, had the pleasure, I'm just blown away, I can't believe it, it's still really exciting, to shoutcast the Race to Worlds First with Big Dumb Gaming, who was partnered with Liquid for like a charity endeavor and for, you know, broadcasting the Race to World First. And the amount of viewership during that is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Like on the lowest days, you use like 7,000 people on one channel, not even, you know, excluding all the other channels, right? On highest days, nearing 20,000 viewers. Wow. Like, this is something where, again, these kinds of things, having this kind of content in this space, and having guilds like Liquid, who are one of the top and have all of these huge sponsors and all of these top players, and are even now starting to cross into stuff like 14 because they heard there was good content, or other stuff like this, right? It revitalizes the game on a different scale and different level. So it's definitely important, and this is so cool to see, because I can safely say that in the 3.5 years that I've been playing this game, I have never seen a Race to World First in endgame content.
Which intense is this one?
They've done some, but it was like Doom and stuff like that, and it wasn't. It was like a day, and it wasn't like it wasn't massive.
Yeah, our races were like, it took 6 hours, but this took 6 days.
Yeah, that's true.
There has been one raid wing that came out since I started playing the game, the Jin inspired one.
Right, yeah.
But that's very sad to say those words. Like, that's sad to say those words, you know? PvE and Guild Wars 2 is really honestly great, and we have a great design team, but it seemed like they just didn't know what to do for content, or there were other issues, other problems, other pacing, funding, teams. I don't know, but they have doubled down and rededicated to PvE, and they have started bringing, I think, a manageable and achievable, regular pacing and difficult content. And I think strike missions are such a huge key to reinvigorating this scene and getting people into it. So I loved seeing this. This was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, just being able to bring new eyes to the game is so important for Guild Wars. I mean, obviously, a Steam release is going to help do that, but stuff like this, new content creators seeing something they really enjoy in the game, being drawn to it, drawing their friends, drawing people who watch them, anything to grow the game is great.
Yeah, it's been more people doing that. Especially, it's definitely one of those things where it becomes, especially as like content and like meta has like changed on Twitch and for YouTubers and stuff, like there's that meta of like, ooh, what do I do now to get the next views? What's an MMO we've not tried? And then suddenly there'll be like this, and Kroof knows this all too well as well, like what is Guild Wars 2 like in 2022, the month of June 2nd? Yeah. And then there's another video.
Updates.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just like, oh, with this, does this change? And it's just like, wow, there's so much. So looking at other MMOs is part of that. But then now, so that's why now it's more important than ever to showcase stuff like this, really showcase it, produce a new website, all the stuff we've been talking about, put out something like a battle pass, or like there isn't an MMO that really has that specifically. Like it's just daily logins, there's dailies, but there isn't really a battle pass specifically that I know of. And if it is, it's probably an MMO that's almost dead.
And it probably could work with MMO super well. Because if you see those people, and if it's certain achievements are tied to like raids or fractals or strike missions, it's like generating more gameplay.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to do. Except we were talking about this, Korg. Yeah, we were talking about basically like a reward track. Don't call it. You could call it a Tyria pass or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I just don't. They won't call it the same as anything else because they don't even like calling Living World DLC. So it's very unlikely they're going to call it a battle pass or Fractal Dungeons. Yeah, there you go. So it's very unlikely that they're going to call it a battle pass, but something like that I would be up for. And we talked about this, and actually, funny enough, someone commented on this. Every single time we talk about this, they say, "Isn't it like that bundle that they put in every so often, like the month or whatever? They give you a bundle, and what's the thing called?
In Guild Wars 2?
Oh,
like it's a drop.
It's the drop. It's the supply drops.
The supply drops.
Oh,
yeah,
those things.
Yeah, and they were comparing it to them, and I was like, yeah, we've talked about it before, but it's not the same. You don't really. Yeah, you kind of, it's there every so often, but it just comes out with different stuff, and
I would rather just see them rework supply drops into a season pass. Yeah, because honestly, I got supply drop after End of Dragons. I was like, oh, what the hey? And yeah, it was great. Yeah. Like when the Black Lion skins came out for the crane weapons, I got one. I was able to just pick one that I wanted from the supply drop.
Oh, cool.
And I, like there were all these other things that they gave me, and it was like really nice. I'd log into game and there was a little treat and it was waiting for me. And I was so like, I had such a positive experience with it, honestly. It's a little treat for me, Rook. I really liked it. Cool. And it felt like it was even, a better consistent value for me when it came to something new hits the gem store, and we've had all these cool Canthan mount skins and all kinds of stuff. But it felt like I didn't have to feel like after the fact, right? I was getting the news, like this thing came out, and then I was going like, oh geez, do I have enough for it? I guess I could get some. I could, Instead, it felt like I was already in the know. Like I'd log into game and it was like, hey, your new supply drop is here. Look, this thing just hit the store. You get to pick one. And I was like, me? That was really fun.
Did you do that on stream? I feel like we need to have a clip.
I did that by myself, just off camera.
You went outside and you were just screaming, just like, the crowd.
Like, oh my gosh, I just looked a weapon.
There you go.
But, like, all of that to say, it left me with a really positive feeling, right? And I was excited when something new hit the store because I already secured that. I already did my thing and I didn't have to stress. It was already planned. So, I mean, honestly, the system is there and I like it, but just do something like that or make it slightly more forward or have them tied to something like, okay, so I finished End of Dragons, or I want to get the, I don't know, ultimate super collector edition or whatever. And it's like you add this extra cost on and then you get the supply drop package. And that supply drop package would cover like all of the post End of Dragons. And then when the next Living Season started, I'd have the option at the start of that. Like, do you want to add on, like, do you want to get the supply drop for Living Season 6 episode, whatever? And honestly, after my experience, I'd probably be like, yes. I was just sad that it didn't last longer. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like,
Supply drop passes. It's like once a week or something. It could be like a 2-month system, a supply drop pass, where it's like you're getting things when you reach these markers, rewarding you more and more.
Yeah, or like, you pay. Well, that's what battle passes are, I guess, because you can only because you pay for a thing and you have to progress through it. Like, you can't just. It's not just you pay for it. Whereas that's what the supply pass is, right? Like,
incorporating gameplay into these things.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's nice to get something for free.
Yeah.
At times, but something where you have more control over it also feels better. Instead of having to wait until like the X date to get it.
Right.
What changes are you talking about? Are you talking about New World?
yes. In the chat, yes.
It's I've been playing that game for a long time, and I went and played. I went to Amazon Studios and played it back in the day when they were first making it it was a survival game back then. And it is,
We could do a whole different podcast about that.
There is some stuff they can take from New World actually in terms of store and stuff like that at times, but New World is just its own. It's a very, very immersive world, which if you've not played it before, you should go and play it buy it when it's on sale, but walk through that game. I will, just because there is a lot to it that's changed since it came out in terms of leveling wise and the combat and everything else, but it's very, very different from your normal MMO, but like the story's good and it is a very decent game. There are points which I started getting into the more PvE invasion stuff, which is very like tower defense-y. And it's actually very good. And it's like, I got into Discord and there was like a leader and you were defending your base against like hordes of enemies that were just swarming over. And I was like, this is an MMO. This is not something I've seen before. So there is good stuff. There's good stuff about loads of MMOs out there, peeps, that you can easily hook into. It just depends on the longevity. It's the community part. For me specifically, I think for a lot of us where, you hook onto that part. And there are areas of New World community which aren't massively great. Unfortunately, there's a lot of toxicity, and PvP is part of that problem, unfortunately. But hey ho, Mario, that is kind of the way it is. Anyway, back on thing. Sorry, random New World stuff. If you ever want to, I will co-stream with you if you want and walk through that. If you ever wanted someone to do that, I would gladly do that. One thing I was gonna ask, and it's completely gone off my mind. Actually, maybe we talked about the CM stuff, and that was big. There wasn't much else in the article. I think we covered the main bits.
I guess they did just confirm that again, Guild Wars 3 is not coming anytime soon, and they're focusing on efforts on.
Which is good, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I love everyone. I love you all. I know we get excited about new iterations of games we love. Stop asking about Guild Wars 3.
Let them announce it if they want to announce it.
I'm
it just
so tired.
doesn't make sense. Anyway, yeah.
I need it.
At the current health of the game and with what they seem to be doing, like it would feel counterintuitive to work on another product until they're able to like sustain the flow of like funding and all that stuff and grow their.
All they gotta do is make an entirely new engine too, right? That's easy.
Yeah, easy, simple. Let's just boot it up.
I'm like, It's just so funny to me. I mean, the game's fine. It's, I honestly love to. I want to keep seeing stuff going with it. We just finished a major story arc. 14's in the same position. They're talking about updates for future longevity, but they are not creating Final Fantasy 15. Even in Final Fantasy 14, we heard that all the time. Like, does this mean they're going to end? But it's particularly true in Guild Wars 2, where I think constantly I hear many people focusing on, like, my only real interest will be if they ever do a Guild Wars 3, when I'm like, End of Dragons was the best expansion we've had to date. Like, things are in a good place. We just have to keep, developing and moving forward.
It's like, do they just want, when people say that, I'm always confused as to, like, do you want a new narrative? Do you want a new gameplay style? Do you want just engine updates? I'm always very, like, there's many different ideas.
I think it's all of
what
that,
people,
actually,
what
Griff,
people,
probably.
I mean, it would have to kind of be all of that, but it's, sometimes
What do you
people
want
get
from a sequel?
enveloped in the idea of what they think a Guild Wars 3 would be, when it's like, I'd let them announce it and have their own, like, confidence in it first, rather than they feel pressured by the community to make a Guild Wars 3, if that makes sense.
I think it's almost that, to a certain degree, a lot of people realize that how long it takes to make an MMO as well. Like, it's on average 5 to 6 years is fairly standard, and it's probably longer for a lot of them to get to a point where they're actually decent. Like, and they've got, so, you're talking about 7 or 8 years, and that's a long time. And production of MMOs, I think, is, especially nowadays, probably more expensive than it was previously, especially with the market, and just having to reinvent the wheel a lot of the time, because that's what people are trying to do. Ashes of Creation, trying to reinvent that event wheel. There's classic, was Warhammer Online, and was Guild Wars 2, and now going to be Ashes of Creation. You've got all of these other MMOs that have been in alpha for so long that will probably never come out. Oh god, Crowfall is just an absolute mess.
Y'all remember that one?
I was a member earlier of that, and that was just, I don't know what they Artcraft, they got sold, and they're still there. They're still they're still crawling.
The thing to me is that Guild Wars, okay, so I guess the big answer to the question, when would Guild Wars 3 happen, to me, would be when the systems and base systems of Guild Wars 2 were so outdated, they could not be updated, they could not be kept up, they would not be on par with what we're seeing in other MMOs. And now, while there are certain MMOs that are leading the forefront in certain departments, right, like Black Desert in regards to graphics, there are different areas where we have seen that, like, newer development has led to these beautiful new advancements, right? But I will say this much, as far as the actual, from what we can tell, largely functional code of Guild Wars 2, I mean, it has been very flexible for them to update. Account-wide stuff isn't an issue. The mega servers work flexibly and well. We've maybe seen some of the biggest stumbling blocks with stuff specifically like the World versus World alliances, but a lot of that is also just due to, like, the natures of the actual game mode and all kinds of other stuff in the game, right? Yeah. But compare that to something like, I'll toss this out there too, like Final Fantasy 14. Where literally, when they designed this, for some reason, the back end code, they had to do it all like in a year after, when they were trying to redesign it, redevelop it.
Yeah, of course.
But, like, there are so many weird issues with that game. Like, so many problems. You have these problems where you want to have 2 windows open simultaneously on your UI. You can't do it. You can't interact with one window while the other is up. You can't have multiple account-wide objects, because somehow in the coding with the way that they did this or rendered it or whatever it is, apparently there's only so many account-wide objects each account can handle on their server load structure. So, like, that's why none of the cash shop items are account-wide. You can't have,
that's why. That's an actual reason.
That is one of the things we've heard from interviews and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's the entire story, but there are all these bizarre convoluted systems. You want to go visit somebody on their server? Okay, cool. Well, you can't have any of your FC buffs active. You can't, like, all these weird things that are because of bizarre little code problems and things like that, right? And that's when an MMO, I really believe, starts to age to a point where you need to start from scratch. Or if we see things like in World of Warcraft, where convoluted storytelling, retcons, issues with inconsistent releasing of content and or styles of content and or some expansions that like they tried to do something new, it just fell flat on their face. Like WoW is dealing with a lot more baggage over the years than many other games. They have flexibly been able to update many components of it in a way that was very forward thinking as far as I can tell from their code. I'm not an expert. I do not know anything really about this. This is what I've gathered, what I've heard, what I've asked about.
Guild Wars 2?
Wow.
This is the World of Warcraft.
Oh, right, sorry, World of Warcraft. My brain.
So they have been, that's okay. They've been able to adapt a lot of things or alter the base code, but that has still involved many overhauls over the years. Now in WoW, I think maybe we are at a point where WoW 2 would be beneficial. They're one of the only MMOs that's never done it. Please just do it. Get yourself a new fresh start and also deal with all the mess at your company. But
yeah.
To me, Guild Wars 2 is not at the point where it is unsalvageable, unplayable, or cannot be flexibly altered, updated, and that to me would be when you start looking at the bigger term investment, like you were pointing out about the years and years and years of development of an entirely new system, entirely new, so that's what I feel. I think the game plays great. It's still beautiful. There's a lot of things to work on in it, but I do not think it is a broken, dysfunctional mess.
No, and they're able to update from DirectX 9 to 11, and possibly in the future to even more DirectX options.
I'm gonna tell you that I know for a fact they have massive issues, and I know for a fact that they
have heard words.
That they do have concerns, and they've talked about this quite publicly in different places, and I've heard from devs and interviews, and I've got interviews from back in the day that they do have these unfortunate problems. Yeah. So not to say
think commonplace with any system you're using.
When it gets older, but they're not the Final Fantasy 14 weird things where you can't have an account they're not that far, but they do have code problems where it's just like they designed it in this way, and honestly Guild Wars 2 is rushed release wise. It was it was like they needed to get it out, they put it out, and then maybe some stuff, I'm really paraphrasing paraphrasing to the nth degree, but like there was some core systems that weren't
they're able to build on top of their combat. Like they're like taking that base engine and they like configure multiple attachments to it, and they just like they DIY it and it just works. They are able to find a way, and just like kudos to like all the groundwork that is still persisting.
I think throughout all of the Living World episodes, throughout all the things that they like, the new things they added to the game over and over again to like different gameplay styles and stuff, there's got to be so much different physics ideas that just are completely different from what they had previously. And just remember when they I think it was Path of Fire, when they started doing moving platforms properly, or like
elevators and stuff.
Elevators, moving platforms and stuff. I think now it's a little bit better than it was before, but I just want to look at what they did to see.
Guild Wars 2 is a Frankenstein of an MMO, and it is working.
I mean, the thing is that all MMOs, I think, are Frankensteins of an MMO. Like,
truly.
This is the nature of this kind of game. You don't know when you make one what the advancements are going to be in 3 years' time, and your game will still be running. And like that's, well, in theory, unless it's an abject failure, and then you have to shut down early. So like that's part of the nature of MMOs.
Sorry. Why are we laughing?
How you build things like modularly and flexibly, and then I think as well how you are able to fix some of those problems creatively, like you were all saying about like making it so that it is not as visible from a player standpoint when you are having to massively overhaul, rewrite, rework. That's the big key here. And I think as MMOs continue to develop as a genre, companies have gotten better and better and better at anticipating that. There's more data, there's more research, there's other games out there that have set a precedent. They understand what works or doesn't work. So, I mean, it's no Guild Wars 3 on the horizon. I'm not upset about it. Like, I want to see what they can keep doing here. Of course, it's always fun to see something new and fresh, but as we all know, sometimes an entirely new iteration of an MMO can also be terrible.
It's not great. People say that about Guild Wars 2 because it is so different. It's so different to the original.
And you can do what games like, I mean, I'm not sure how many years it was until World of Warcraft did this, but they reskinned their characters and adjusted, poses and adjusted armor and upped some of the pixels on some of the old and maybe not on the old costumes and stuff, but like on some bits and pieces on maps as well. And it was Gears to Gnomes actually responded, because I like posting screenshots as well, and he said, I would love to see just World v World getting a visual update, because we've been stuck in those maps since launch, and you go there and I'm taking screenshots and I'm like, wow, these edges are really pointy, nothing looks like, it does look really dated now. And it's like, well, just stick some more new model. I mean, not sticks, it's throwing. But like, some even just like different keep designs, tower designs, like just, new skins on there, something to really just give it a little bit more of a makeover would be cool. I would like to see that, the fur on Char, for example, just to maybe even just updating the graphic, like just the skins on character design a little bit. I mean, I know this is not an easy thing to do, but those are the kinds of things that will likely happen, in all honesty, to just
in the
bring
future,
it. Yeah, but it's still, even now, like, Rook's saying, like, it's been 10 years. I mean, WoW was, how long did it take them to, do that? It took them a long time, and the game doesn't look as dated as other MMOs that are really going for it right now. So like, I think we're good. And I think on that note, we could probably end. I think that would be a good time to end. Guild Wars 3, no.
Good time to end Guild Wars 2 and move on to Guild Wars 3.
Easy. We'll get it up and running 2 months, the
Well,
same
it's End of
time
Dragons,
as the Living World release.
Well, Guild Wars 3. Guild Wars 3 is actually gonna have a focus on guilds.
By the way, oh boy, and that's coming with alliances, buddy. That's coming with alliances. By the way, I just thought you
coming with Guild Wars 3.
Every once in a while, you ask us for ideas for what we could talk about on the show, and I just thought of something.
Sorry.
Could we talk about, since it is the End of Dragons, story-wise, where we're going after Living World Season 1 is done?
Well, now?
I just want to take a moment to say that
Not
we
now.
never actually finished our podcast for End of Dragons.
That's true, too.
That's true, actually. Sorry.
We could
but it's old
probably
news
have
now.
a story.
We've
I
not
think having a
really-
story wrap up in future would be good, because we can move on.
We've
we
never
have to,
really-
still
we're
haven't-
content creators. We have to keep up with marketing
Well, that's the
tactics. We
thing.
can't go back to old stuff when it just released and it's
Well,
done.
that's the thing. Like, there was too much going on at the time, and I think I wanted to
Yeah.
give people space to finish it. And I think now, as there's even more players coming in, I'm like, I'm kind of hesitant about talking heavily about story, like that's newer.
Wow.
But I mean, I think there's a lot of new people who listen to this and watch this podcast. Like people, and I know that's not
Okay.
always the case, but we can talk about what we want essentially. I mean, we can talk about End of Dragons. I really want to do this flow chat.
Oh yeah.
Like I know there's some content creators peeps. I actually want to have a big podcast with like more than 4 people, maybe 6 or so. Could get a little bit rowdy. We'll see.
Crazy.
But
We really would have to raise our hands to.
yeah, we're gonna have to
order.
have buttons for that one. We'll get
Everyone's
on
on
Zoom.
push to talk.
Yeah, well, you can't put little icons up, can you? Like Zoom and like Teams or whatever. You have to put the little hand. You can put the little hand up. There's a little hand that comes up. Are you buzzing? Yeah, see, there you go. Cass is gonna send us all the buzzers. Who makes buzzers? What were you gonna say? Sorry, Boobs. Boobs.
Sorry, boobs.
Sorry,
What were you
boobs.
gonna say?
I just put the Instagram comment on of me saying the Big Ben, the clock, and I said cock instead. I just put that on Instagram. I was just like, wow,
my
Rick's
Big
awful.
I'm going to have to try so hard not to call you boobs all the time.
Oh no.
I didn't say boobs. I thought I said boots, but I'm very silent T because I'm from London, so there's the T's
Sure, that
and
was
the
what it
C's.
was.
Yeah, it was.
Boops.
Boobs
Yeah.
and
Oh, I
boots.
thought it was boobs. Maybe I
Boobs.
need to
I've
get my
heard
hearing
boots.
checked.
Boots.
That's my name. I don't know.
What was the
I don't know what I was
subject?
gonna
Did you
tell
just
about.
say you were talking about thinking and?
Did I?
about new
Story,
subjects?
where Guild Wars 2 is going to go.
Oh, like where are we going next? Yeah, we can do that.
Exactly.
We can do that. I can put that on the list of these subjects.
Yeah, because we haven't really been able. It's true, we haven't finished the End of Dragon story. We have only alluded to, in like a very cheeky manner, what happened in the epilogue on this podcast so far, and I feel like we still need to discuss that thoroughly.
Why do you hate me?
Yeah.
Why do you want me to be able to talk about things I love? Why haven't we talked about rest of End of Dragons yet?
Why can't we just tag a
Don't do
stream
that
as being
face at me.
spoilery and then just, you know?
You make me sad.
Mhm. Next
Well, when do you want to do
episode. Next episode, we'll just crank the rest of it
the
out.
next one?
Yeah.
We just talk
Crank-
about the whole
crank it up.
story of End of Dragons?
Yeah, let's
Crank it
just
out.
do it.
I don't
enough
know.
Like a
time for
band-aid.
that.
Rip it off.
We did
So-
the first two maps.
finished
We only
school
have two
first.
more maps.
Oh, there's map. We go map by map.
We've been going
Did
map
we
by
talk
map.
about the story?
No!
We didn't even talk about the story. We just talked about the maps.
Yeah,
But we
Jeffro,
talked about
that's
the
where
story
we're
up
at.
until the
We
maps.
didn't do anything with End of Dragons at all.
Yeah, we haven't really.
We talked about the story up until
We didn't.
we exit those
we
maps.
We didn't even talk
We
about the
did.
story, did we?
We did.
We didn't
We,
really
I mean, we
talk.
kind
We
of talked
mentioned
about the
it
story.
as we were talking about the maps because it was just an organic part of the map.
Yeah, because we talked about skiffs and also the bot because the bot was part of the story. So we talked
Yeah.
about that
So-
bit of the story.
The summary is we need to have a circle back to End
I
of
can't
Dragons.
remember the story.
Jeffro, what is wrong with you?
You gotta play
You
it.
gotta
I
play
mean,
it
I
again.
can remember the story, but I can't remember like all of the bits and pieces. Do you know what I mean? Like
It
I'm.
was amazing.
You have
I mean, they were
homework.
amazing, but I'm old now, so like my memory just goes.
I can refresh your memory. I'm an encyclopedia of Guild Wars 2 knowledge. I will take you on the journey.
Okay. All right. Well,
Perfect.
we'll get footage of all of us playing it, other than Boots, because Boots probably hasn't got it, and
That's true.
we've got. I was gonna call you Bird of Chest then. Imagine calling you Bird of Chest now.
Wait a second.
That would be
Calling me
weird.
boobs and calling her bird of chest? What's going on here?
I did
is
not say
happening?
Bird of Chest.
Jeffro, get your
I
mind
said
out of
Bird
the
of
gutter.
Chest. I said Bird
You
of Chest.
are
Unbelievable.
filthy.
No,
Yeah.
I said Bird of Chest. I said Bird of Chest. But chest. Oh no! Now I'm saying I said Bird of Chest. The reason why I always get in weird like about it is because I was calling you Bird of Chest. Jesus, chess. Bird of Chest.
Jesus. Who's Jesus?
Bird of Jesus.
Is it Cheddar? Is it Swift?
Jesus.
Bird of Jess.
What was that
Bird of Jess now. I'm actually. Who snorted then? I'm having a heart attack. I'm having someone call 911. Oh god, my chest is getting tight.
We gotta end the podcast, Jeffro.
I'm having a heart attack. I can't.
I'm gonna piss my pants.
Oh no! Don't.
Can we wrap this up?
I honestly mean it. You're all great. Okay. I don't know what I'd do without this podcast, honestly. Where would my life be?
Love you all too. Love you all
It's a
too.
great time. Okay. If you do have friends who you think would enjoy the random ramblings of us on a weekly or bi-weekly basis sometimes, then you may want to pass this over to your friends. This has been a top episode. Twitch.tv/JibberUni, mostly every week on a Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific-ish, depending on how sorry I am that day. So it's normally about 12:30, but the stream normally goes live. We've had some awesome guests this week, as per usual. This is our regular crew. When people nip in and out, though, we do get some awesome guests in as well. So if you've ever seen the likes of the Herald, Fornax, and loads of our other friends who have joined us on a regular basis, they're all awesome as well. I would encourage you to go and please follow everyone as well and check out their content. Boots, tell us what you do, where you do it. Boots.
Hi,
with a
I'm
T at
Boots,
the end.
also known as World of Enders. And you could find me on YouTube at World of Enders. You know, I'm gonna put out a little video about fishing because I think I gotta put something. Like I can't just fish for 40 hours straight and then not do anything with it. Okay, and then so World of Enders on YouTube.
It's just
It was random. That's all I have. And on
Fishing
Twitter, World of Enders. On Twitch, it's boots_. And you could find me here when I'm not removing bloatware from my new phone. You could also find me on Hosts of Ascalon, the podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's me.
Nice. A time-lapse fishing video. Yeah, that would be cool. I actually like those videos. Time-lapse and screenshots. If you haven't been taking screenshots where you've been going around fishing, I will be very sad.
I've been doing nothing.
Why do you not take screenshots?
I've been fishing, Jebro.
Control Shift H.
streaming it.
I started the first 20 levels or so I streamed, and then I think they're probably all
last
deleted by
10.
now though, the VODs.
Start streaming again around like the last 10 or 5.
You can click a button basically to save your VODs
Well,
or highlights.
I still haven't even installed Nightbot, so.
And Nightbot is like 1 million years old, so don't do it.
Oh, okay.
If you want to understand what a good bot is, just ask one of us. Don't install Nightbot. Is just I've still got Nightbot.
I use Nightbot.
Nightbot is like stalking my channel, and I can never get rid of it. It's just it's always going to be there. Go away. I don't like you.
Okay. See you later.
No, not you. I relatively like you. Oh wow.
Oh, insert the what is the Arrested Development joke where the sad
yeah.
Charlie Brown music plays?
Yeah. Classic. That was good. Kroof, tell us what you do and where you diggity do it.
I did not like that. Hi everyone, I'm
What?
I do a lot of Guild Wars 2 videos over on my YouTube. I have been doing a lot of overarching essay-esque videos, doing some specific stuff, of course, with the new website release, as well as new videos coming up. There's a video up early on the Patreon, so if you want some exclusive content and early videos, the Patreon is there. I also stream here on Twitch throughout the week. Mondays are usually Final Fantasy 14, but most other days are Guild Wars 2 or another game. So catch me around. Thank you. I
What
love
other
this
games?
podcast.
You love the vlog?
Dream Daddy. I also really like.
It's cool. I played it. During the
Dead by Daylight. I like Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
Dead by Daylight is lit. Sometimes Apex Legends, Elden Ring. Yeah.
Elden Ring is a tough beast. Great beast though. Great beast. Story is
No, we're talking about Elden Ring, not Dream Daddy.
Oh. I thought you said SAS as well. I was like, SAS? That's very British. Like, Dream Daddy is great. Okay, so I played that during a Boulder-thon a long time ago as a reward. It's like, so you can maybe play one of these games. And it was like Dream Daddy. There you go.
I should play it. I have yet to play it.
Wait, what? You haven't played it?
Are you kidding me? You really
I
haven't?
haven't played it. Maybe I should.
Proof.
Maybe
Get
I should
on
play
it.
Yes, you should play it.
It's super cute.
For sure.
It's super cute.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's someone else. The Rookery is here as well.
No, I've actually rebranded again, and my new name is Bird of Chest. So,
there's so much loot. Oh my god.
No, I'm Rookery. You can find me at twitch.tv Rookery. That's Rookuri. You can also find me on YouTube at Rookery. Deborah's laughing about poop jokes.
No, I'm not. I'm laughing
what are
at
you
Kroof.
laughing about? Okay, that's fair too. It's me. Okay, once CC did say that my name was Rick Bertochess.
What?
I think it was really good.
Who is that?
But anyway, this is just a little aside.
Is that your witness protection name?
Yeah, that's my witness protection name, so you all know when I need to go to witness
Rick Bertochess.
protection. But you can find me everywhere pretty much at Rookery. The only difference is that on Twitter, I'm at Rookery_. I'm usually live on my own channel 2 to 3 days a week. And then I try to get a YouTube video up at least once a week. And then I'm on podcasts Friday and Saturday. But I've been having a lot of other special events and other shenanigans. So keep an eye out, hop in, join the Discord, keep an eye on Twitter to know where I am whenever I'm doing it and what I'm doing where.
And Tuesday, we're doing a special PvP stream. So come for
Oh,
and watch
really?
it. I forgot to say that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What are you
PvP
doing?
stream. Glenn Angel, another Lightbringer occasionally, has been doing PvP, and they inspired me. So we're getting together and we're doing like a PvP stream, and I
Very
might have
nice.
some giveaways for Tuesday as well.
Yeah, they've
I
been
will also
messaging
be
me.
there as
They've been
well.
messaging me about
Everybody
all the
tune in.
things.
That sounds fun.
That's true. What are you doing? The unranked for like 5v5?
Probably unranked. We're gonna just be chill, and also in the same time, like
Is it all three of you on the
terraform
same
meta.
team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
Rook's
like
gonna play
dominating.
PvP as well.
Amazing.
I'm gonna
What?
unleash the inner PvP demon.
Are you gonna go
just
for a
wait.
What
tournament?
time is it at?
Probably around like 12 p.m. Pacific
Nice.
time.
Okay.
So around then.
Okay, so I
Love it.
cannot miss this. I cannot miss the stream.
Oh.
I have to watch.
I actually think I can watch that as well. Yeah, I will definitely watch that, and I will
I need to
be
work on that
there
this
talking
weekend.
and
So I have to
thinking
get all
about
the
it.
scenes ready.
That's cool.
Yeah, be more prepared than me when I did Arteria Brand stream.
Yeah, Glenn has been messaging me a lot about PvP as well, and was like, "Can I do this? Can I do that? There's this reward track. Like, which class is the best one? What do you think best builds are and stuff?" And I've just
Right
been watching him,
now-
loving all the things. It's good times.
Right now, Harbinger's nice and easy.
Harbinger, Willbender, yeah, Dragon Hunter is probably the easiest, and is pretty damn good right now. Mechanist is pretty good. There's loads of good classes. PvP has been left in the wind a bit, unfortunately, but it is a wicked fun, and I play it all the time. I said wicked fun. Wow, I'm truly becoming American. Anyway, I'm gonna find somewhere to raid to as well afterwards, but we're gonna do the outro. For me, finally, first, last, and Jebro is my name. Jebro Unity on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the places, Patreon too. Loads of episodes to come of the Lightbringers podcast. If you would ever like us to talk about something specific, then let us know. I am the least toxic commentator. Thank you very much in PvP. Very good. In PvP, what? When I commentate other teams, not myself.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
Not myself.
Yeah,
not
when
my
you
stream.
yourself are playing PvP.
Yeah, but I normally like railing on myself as well, to be
Yes.
fair. Jebra, why? You suck. Go and watch us next week. 12 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you next time. Go and watch that. Will be we'll host and we'll do some promotion around the PvP stuff because that'll be fun. Wow, you're asking about getting back into Guild Wars 2 right at the end of the stream? Well, I'm gonna
The
find
answer
someone for
is
you that's
good idea.
do it.
Good idea.
Do it now.
Do it. Do it.
Bye everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time on the Lightbringers podcasts. Don't say that in the chat when literally first time they're coming in. It's not true. Very nice. Yes,
Can confirm.
that's Obi. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Take care and see you next time.